Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. Hope you and yours are doing exceptionally well. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. If you do miss something, we got you covered all 3 hours to be posted upon the conclusion of the program, both to iTunes, where you can subscribe to the show, but also on our website, ESPNTallahassee.com, and on the WTSM app, which is free for your mobile devices. Email the program if you'd like. It's jcs@979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter @JCameronShow. Also the station @979 ESPN Radio. If you'd like to Periscope, that's where you go. And if you want to YouTube, hello, YouTubers. I hope you're doing well as well. Just type in Jeff Cameron Show. You'll find us on YouTube. All right. No puking in show. You got to hang in there. Just hang in there, buddy.
Puking is not, that's not on the list of what would happen. But,
right.
Yeah.
Good. Well, it's good to have you back, buddy.
It's nice to see you, too. These are nice glasses you got there.
I've had them for a long time. I use them sometimes I don't. But I broke them, and then I didn't fix them because I had some others, and then anyhow, and now I've fixed them.
You look good. You look well-rested.
I am well-rested. I've been getting back after it, doing the right thing. A lot of cardio that is not my friend. Me and cardio have a hate relationship. There's not love-hate. It's a hate relationship. I hate cardio. I can lift all day long, and playing sports, so like if you're hitting somebody or going to the basket.
If you're distracted by the,
distracted, like there's a purpose for running to the ball or to go do something, then I'll do all of those things. But running to run, walking briskly just to walk briskly, whatever the cardio is that you're doing, and I'm doing run walk right now until I can get it back to a place that's respectable. It's just I'm pissed off the whole time. Just pissed.
Well, you have two resources at home. You could let your boys play quarterback, and then you run routes for them so they could sharpen their arm.
Yeah, I'm always all-time quarterback with them. But you'd be proud of me yesterday, but I did 4.6 miles.
4.6 miles?
4.6 miles, that's right. I did.
You jogged 4.6 miles?
Yeah, not fast, but I did, yes.
Continuously?
Yeah. Continuously.
That's very good.
Well, I got in a groove, and then that's the problem. I get mad at my brain. My brain won't let me be happy. So I'm going, and I'm just going. And I'm not like you. I can't do the thing where you just follow your breathing. I got to be distracted. So I had loud music on. And I had my headphones on, and I was in a place, man. I had put together a playlist, the whole damn deal, and I was going. And then the next thing I knew, about 2 miles. Now, the first mile is hell on everybody, I think. I think even if you've run all your life, that first mile, nobody likes it. It's garbage. So I was mad, but all of a sudden I started to feel like, okay, got a little something going here. We're doing some things, and it was nice. It wasn't too hot. And I was going along. And I had conquered this one little hill, and I was feeling good about that. And then I kept going. And then I got in deep into my music. And I've recently purchased like 16 new records. And so I was listening to these albums and kind of familiarizing myself with these albums. And then at the 2.5 mile mark, my brain went, hey, man, we're running. This sucks. Why don't you stop running? Why don't we shut it down? Why don't we slow things down? This is ridiculous. You can't enjoy this music while you're running. You should just walk and listen to the music. Maybe even sit down, Jeff, and listen to the music. Perhaps we should go lay on the couch and listen to the music. Brain just trying to override all my good intentions over and over again. I kept going, powered through that, but it never stopped until I finished. It kept going. This is dumb. What are we doing? Killing yourself. Stop doing this. And I can never get it to stop doing that. And people talk about runner's high. I've bitched about this on the air for years. I talk to runners. We have a mutual friend, and I consider him a very good friend. Over the years, we've gotten to know each other quite well. And I've picked his brain, and he runs 10 miles a day every day. And I ask him all the time about it. And he somehow, I don't know, he says it's like brushing his teeth. If he doesn't do it, he can't, function. I I don't think I'm ever going to get there.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth with the cadence, the music, and just a straight timer with the breathing cadence. And for me, what ends up working is if I have the timer with the breathing cadence, because then it keeps me in check. I get basically a checkup every so often to make sure that I'm breathing at the best rate. I don't know. Everybody's different with that kind of stuff. Music's fun too if you're just going for a sprint. You're just really trying to get after it for a mile.
Yeah, no, music is always necessary for me, or a riveting podcast, such as the Jeff Cameron Show. No, I don't listen to my own shit. You know what, though? I will say running to me is a little bit like that food item that's good for you, but, it would be even better if you could just add cheese. Like, it's like, I get that broccoli's good, but it's really good when you throw some melted cheese on it. So I understand running's good for you, but I need, like, lots of distractions from the fact that I'm running, like people do when they're eating broccoli. They throw something else on there. How about a little salt? Can I have a little salt, a little something to go with this?
That's like stir fry, right? I mean,
yeah.
The concept of stir fry is like, all right, I know, boring. If you just stacked up some broccoli, peas, and carrots,
there you go,
and you had to scoop them by themselves, that's no fun.
No, that's not what we're doing.
How about this fun little mix?
Yeah,
we'll
let's do this.
Throw chicken and shrimp in there.
Yeah, a little fried egg. Do some stuff like that. Yeah, do it up. Yeah,
some might like that.
Yeah. Florida State football team will conclude its 2019 spring practices on April the 6th with the annual Garnet and Gold Spring Football Game to take place at 4 p.m. in Doak Campbell Stadium. And that announcement makes you feel what?
Nothing. Nothing.
Not a damn thing. I knew you were going to say nothing. Following the game, a concert will be held on Bobby Bowden Field inside Doak Campbell Stadium for ticket holders to the spring game. Details for the concert are being finalized and will be announced at a later date. The spring game gives fans their first look at the 2019 squad, including new offensive coordinator Kendall Briles.
They couldn't wait to write that sentence.
And wide receivers coach Ron Dugans, returning to Tallahassee after a stellar playing career for the Noles. In addition, the spring game marks the first action in Doak Campbell Stadium for 7 early enrollees who signed with the Noles during the early signing period and are already on campus. General admission tickets for the spring football game are only $10, and the post-game concert is free with your ticket purchase. Reserved seats in the stadium and Dunlap Champions Club, better known as the Tom Lang Memorial.
That's correct.
Are also available. And then they tell you where to go to get said tickets and all of that. I just wanted to read, A, I wanted to read that because it's funny, but B, I wanted to read that opening line to ask you and to get the response that I got, which I was predicting, because I think it echoes everybody in their sentiment in the fan base. I think everybody listening to that in that moment in their car went, yeah, I don't feel nothing. Doesn't trigger anything, Jeff. Doesn't do anything for me. Nothing will but wins. That's true. That's where we're at. You can tell me that it's my chance to get the first look at Kendall Briles. Oh, good. There he is. It's Kendall Briles. Nobody cares.
So it's not going to exude, that type of pageantry like a normal football game would, like any football game. So if I was to compare it to, or at least offer you the chance to compare it to a home basketball game, so the spring game equals anywhere from Florida State hosting Mercer at the TLC CC to Duke and anything in between. Is there a team in there like a Wake Forest or a Georgia Tech? What's the equivalent of energy you'll feel in watching that game?
For the spring game?
For the spring game. We got to equate it to a basketball game because it's not the same as a football game, not even close.
Yeah, we ought not lie to ourselves, though. The truth of the matter is, no matter how bitter we are or jaded we are based on any number of factors, in particular the 5-7 record, when it comes time for football to actually happen, where players are in pads and they are practicing and you're getting reports for, days on end about what somebody did, regardless of your unwillingness to embrace that with a level of enthusiasm the way we did a year ago for the change that we saw, you are triggered to some extent to be curious, to want to see. Because, listen, deep down, as disgruntled as we might be with the product, we love Florida State football. I mean, and I'm not just talking about you and me, I mean all of us, we love Florida State football. and we want it to be great. Our anger derives from it not being great, and we're desperate to see it return to its rightful place amongst the elite of college football at the very top. And so that yearning will lead to you being curious enough to have a little bit of enthusiasm, even though you don't feel that right now, about the spring game. It's going to happen. It just always does.
Yeah, you'll have the enthusiasm on game day, but what I'm saying is it won't be the same as even trying to learn something about the team when they play FCS competition in, like, September. Like, so we play ULM in week 2. Mm-hmm. I look more forward to that game than I will the spring game because I get to see.
It's a real game.
Right. So what I'm saying is, like, for Florida State basketball, we have the Vista this year. We have the Corner Pocket Executive Suite. We still do. And we enjoy those games, but some of them are reserved for December, and some of them are Duke.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean? Get it. Yeah, no, but where would I put it on that in that spectrum?
Yeah.
Where it's not Duke, but it's more than Mercer.
Is it an ACC opponent or
it's like a middling ACC opponent. It's like
Miami,
like Wake or Miami rolling in here. You're like, yeah, okay, I'll go see that. Well, I mean, I always want to beat Miami's ass and everything, so maybe Miami's a bad example, but Wake. Yeah, it's like Wake rolling in here. You're like, Wake's here.
Yeah, I'll go see that.
Yeah.
That's what you.
Yeah, I'll go see that. About Wake. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, but I just know how we are, though, and right now it's almost a point of pride. We feel so burned by what happened, and there's so much residual frustration, and especially the way things got drawn out, even with the changes. We talked about it this week, that you never really got to satiate that desire to see an impactful move now, and it's gonna make headways, right? We're gonna hear like, oh, look at this, it's drawn out. Briles here, Dugan's there, and all right, we'll still have
Clement someday.
There's an early signing period, and then there's a regular signing period, and stuff in between, like a big visitation weekend this weekend, and all. It feels.
I like the visitation, like. The idea of that, because it is a visit weekend, but visitation just, I think, of prison,
Well, if you're in prison, I imagine, depending on the kind of visit, it's a big deal. But that would suck. God, you just got me thinking about people being in prison. Florida State football, it's like being in prison and getting visited.
One thing I will say about the spring game is I'm going to look at it clinically. I don't think that's going to change. There won't be enthusiasm for me on that day.
You can't learn anything because the offensive and defensive lines aren't going to war.
No, but I'm looking for, your offensive line's going to get split up with whatever it is, too, because you're not going to have a couple of grad transfers if we even land those kids to begin with. But I'm just going to be looking for the same thing I do most spring games, which is, is that new player somebody in a one-on-one match? You're looking for 7-on-7 results, essentially.
Yes, you are.
Like, what is this kid in a one-on-one against DJ Matthews in the slot? What is he like coming up against the run? Does he look natural? Does he get downhill quickly? Is he somebody that can make somebody miss in space if he's on offense? It's very clinical, I think, at this point. It's not about feel-goods. That was last year.
Well, and I guess just aspects of Briles' offense. That's the other thing. And I am really excited about those additions. Ron Dugans is a guy that I have a lot of respect for, and so I'm excited to see him come home. Of course, I watched his career, and we were all disappointed a year ago when we didn't get him. I mean, he was going to be part of that staff, or so we thought.
He can recruit too, yeah. So obviously,
so I mean, I'm excited. Already he's he's tweeted out some pictures and all that. It warms your heart. You see a Noel come back, you're like, there you are, brother. Welcome home. It was ridiculous you wearing that. What the hell were we doing here? It's not like you were at West Virginia, freaking Miami. Not what you do. But
this is what you do.
This is what you do, and do well, and it's going to kick ass. All right. There's that enthusiasm, right?
Will it kick ass?
It's going to be a lot better if they can block. The whole thing's if they can block. We're going to be saying that until we're blue in the face. I mean, I said it last year. We thought that we didn't think they'd be that bad. I mean, we thought, first of all, they got injured, and there were a lot of things that happened, but then they were just bloody terrible. I mean, it was just something to behold. I had literally never seen an offensive line at a school like this be that bad.
I think you're influenced by the soccer guys coming up at 6 o'clock to call us bloody terrible.
They were bloody terrible. It was just like I felt like yelling every week, "This is bloody terrible." I was furious.
Terrible.
Just terrible. MyPillow.com.
Not terrible.
Not terrible. Incredibly comfortable. Slept on My Pillow last night? You could sleep on My Pillow. In fact, you can get 4 of them. What? The 4-pack special still rolling. Go to mypillow.com, get the 4-pack special. Promo code 979ESPN. You get the 2 regular My Pillows, which are big and comfortable and fluffy, but not too fluffy. They hold their shape for you, but they don't make your neck stick straight up. You're good. It's a perfect pillow. It's a good pillow. I like it. It's My Pillow. MyPillow.com with the 4-pack special is free shipping too, and a money-back guarantee extended through March. MyPillow.com. You need the promo code 979ESPN. You're going to do this now, aren't you?
I think it fits, doesn't it? At least for one a day.
Well, I can't be so enthusiastic when I do that, though. I can just say, order My Pillow today. MyPillow.com, promo code 979ESPN. And receive the best night's sleep you've ever had. MyPillow.com. Don't forget the promo code 979ESPN.
Did you know you could receive faster service at MyPillow.com?
Yay, My Pillow. Could be your pillow at MyPillow.com.
Right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Interest rates with approved credit.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Recently, I've seen a lot of commercials from attorneys and public adjusters trying to cash in on the hurricane damages to your home or business. Using these individuals could result in a reduction in your insurance claim reimbursement. As a licensed roofing and general contractor, we know how to navigate insurance claims so that you don't have to share your reimbursement with an attorney or a public adjuster. If you have questions, give us a call. Our advice is free. Turning your claim over to an attorney or a public adjuster is not.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Want better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Change your oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. You know that sticker on your windshield? Don't look at it now. Wait until the next red light. Okay, check the number on your sticker. Then check your odometer. Is it time? There are 19 Tallahassee area Super Lube locations, which means there's one close to you right now. No appointments, and you're in and out in no time. You can do this today. Super Lube, for better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine.
How I love to super lube my car, yes sir.
Yo, where the hell are you? Dude, I'm here, sitting at the bar. Where are you? The hell you are? I've been here for 30 minutes. Erroneous. BS. I've been sitting at this bar for 3 hours drinking pecan whiskey. We said Pensacola, dude. Why would we meet there? We're old men, and that's for the kids. Hashtag Northsiders. Did you just hashtag me? Hashtag hell yes. See you in 30. Get the mahi and a beer.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I get low about night, out in the corner and drink my wine.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. One of these, well, it would be it'd be frowned upon. We'd get in trouble, and nobody would be able to see it on YouTube. We could just go through songs and talk about them, and they're like, "Dude, you can't do that."
That would be a licensing infringement. Yeah,
yeah, that would be. Yeah, I do believe in response to the opening segment regarding the enthusiasm or lack thereof surrounding the spring game that our opinion is not unique. I think that's everybody. But I will say that they're smart to do the $10 thing. For years, I was like, man, you got to make money off this. I mean, we've always been somewhat, compared to other schools, cash strapped, and people will hand over $10, especially if they know it's going towards something good. If it's going to help their school or help the athletic program or help football or help
the football
scholarship
facility.
I would think. I mean, people are all in on that. People will part with that $10 without a problem, and lots of schools were doing it way before we did. It is weird to see the stark contrast, though, to think about the difference. It's first of all to read the release from Florida State, reminding you that we're not that far away from a spring game, by the way, because once you're in February, I mean, it feels pretty close, you know? And then secondly, the feeling I had last year when we talked about the spring game and the announcement of the spring game and all of the things that led into that, and I know you were out of the country at the time, right?
I was in Dallas.
You were in Dallas,
yeah.
Not out of the country at all. But I couldn't remember. I thought that was your Canada trip. No, you were in Dallas. Anyhow, I mix and match times. Don't worry about it. I knew you weren't there. The point is, it was crazy to take that picture of the sellout and me sending it to you and going, dude,
I couldn't believe it.
Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, I knew people were enthused. It's not about the enthusiasm. I just couldn't believe the raw number of people.
No, you and me both. I couldn't either.
Well, I told you, my old roommate, he texted me. So I put my phone away because I was at a wedding, and it was
that's what it was.
Yeah, it was a wedding reception, the whole thing. So for the cocktail hour and
out of
the
country
reception,
in Dallas. Yeah,
you're out of the country at that point, right? Yeah. So you put your phone away. I get it the next day, and the funny thing is, I see a stream of consciousness of my roommate. He's pissed because of the line. Remember the line, and they didn't have enough ticket takers to allow people in.
I didn't have to deal with that, but
and so he was. Well, of course you didn't. So he's furious, and he says, "This is the worst experience I ever had in my life." And then I got a text that next morning that said, I take it all back because once I got in, that's the best spring game I've ever been to, and it's not even close. I'll never forget that spring game.
Probably be the last best spring game. You'll never get that crowd again.
Well, unless we win 10 games this year. Yeah.
What could he do? I mean, even 10 wins, I think, nah. People are going to revert back to it's just the spring game. You captured lightning in a bottle. People wanted something. They were desperate to hang on to something. They needed something. We had been down in the dumps. Remember, this is on the heels of a disastrous season under Jimbo Fisher, who then leaves us at the altar and says, screw it, I'm gone. I'm going to Texas A&M, lying for weeks on end about that. And then you think, well, what happened? We were national champions of top college football, and now fast forward a few years, and we're a joke. And the dude leaves. We're 5-6. We need help. And then this guy embraces Florida State enthusiastically, basically says what we all want to hear, which is my dream job, and you means it. I do believe that, by the way. I know the season didn't go well, but he meant it. I think this is his dream job. And so because it was authentic, because it felt genuine, because you wanted to have you wanted the next guy to have the same sort of pride in the university that you had. So we were all in. And he really did a good job of stirring the pot. Like, hey, guys, I need you. Come on. Let's embrace the new. And we all did. But you never get that chance again. It's like first impressions. That's it. And then 5-7. He could go 11-1 next year. They're not going to sell the spring game out the following year.
I don't know. I mean, if you get a combination, like 3 acts after the game, because part of it was that concert. People were there for the concert.
I guess.
I mean, you get like Jeff Foxworthy and then Kiss. You get a mixture. You get a mixture of crazy things, and you touch every demo.
What in the world are we doing
You get like
here?
Jeff Foxworthy and Kiss. And
let's get Jeff Foxworthy and Kiss. Well, you know what? That's a stroke of genius, Tom Lang. Foxworthy and Kiss. How about MC Hammer?
Wait, well, then then you bring Ludacris here. Okay. He played there before. So there you go. 1, 2, 3. There's your act. 1, 2, and 3. And then we get an early enrollee who's a 5-star quarterback, right? And so he gets to play in the spring game.
Now we're creating unbelievable scenarios, literally.
But you would sell that puppy out.
Then you would, yes. Yeah, all right. So we've got... It looks like Jay-Z will be here. We just signed a 5-star kid that the nation wanted, but he said yes to us. And we went 12-0 last year. Sell out! Here we go! Yeah, no, not going to happen. And I think that was the confluence of events that was a perfect storm, and we all went in there, and it was incredible, and then that's why it was so disappointing to have the season that we did. I'm reading this story today about Virginia Tech and the nightmare and they're going through, and Fuente's going through with all these transfers, and in general, that's going on all over the country. You're seeing not as bad as it's going on at Virginia Tech. They got real problems there. It's, it just shows you there are no assurances. You just don't know. I mean, a lot of things have to fall into play. You got to get a little lucky. Universally believed to be a great hire, Justin Fuente. Gets off to a fantastic start, much better start than Willie has. And you're going, well, good hire, perfect for that school. He wants to be there. He's saying the right things. They're winning football games. And the next thing you know, disarray.
The next thing you know, he doesn't want to be there because you
give him every opportunity to praise the place, and he's looking for an out.
We had just had David Teal on that summer, and he says, my God, he goes above and beyond anytime you ask him about Virginia Tech and being there. And then you ask him the same question thinking that's going to be something that he warms up with that answer about the feel-goods.
It's like
I'll never say ever.
Yeah, no, I gave him the opportunity to talk about how much he loved being in Blacksburg. And then he goes, well, that's the whole thing. He turns into Jeff Bridges and kind of hedges his bets right off the bat. And I'm going, well, what is going on here? My man won 9 games right off the bat. He was in good shape. They had another good year last year. And then this year they go 6-7. And all of it was, and now they kicked our ass, but so did everybody. The thing of it was weird was that, again, it's like he was telling you it was going to happen. Like, he knew they were in real trouble. Now he couldn't have known the Jackson injury, but now that kid's transferring, and it's just it's remarkable.
What's more embarrassing, that opener not scoring a touchdown against Virginia Tech or blowing the lead on the road against Miami?
No, the latter.
But the expectations weren't as high by the time you got to the latter. The expectations were skyrocketing for that first game.
Well, they were. That was a bigger disappointment, but more embarrassing is blowing a 27-7 lead. You're up 27-7 in the middle of the third quarter. Miami's done. I almost said something I can't say. Done diddly.
Yeah.
The whole game, completely dominated. Oh, that just got me. I'm not going to shake that one easily. Even though it was in the midst of an awful season and Miami went on to suck and we sucked, and so what? It's like the mid-2000s just suck fest.
Well, but it's the Bohica that you could have had.
Well, right. I mean, those are two losses that could have easily been 2 wins, one under Fisher, one under Taggart, both choke jobs, both frustrating, both. Yes, we were that close to the Bohica.
Once we got over
the Platinum Bohica could have been a reality.
Rick Fisher won. That was the one we had to escape because it's the pick in the back of the end zone that Kaya throws. I mean, we should have lost that game.
Well, that's who Kaya is.
Yeah.
He just was being Kaya. Kaya being Kaya.
And that's Matthew Thomas's shiny. He loved playing down there, right? Because he had a shiny moment in that game, getting thrown out of the game.
It was a thing of beauty.
And then it was the hit against Michigan in that very building as well, in the Orange Bowl, when they were near the goal line.
Bravo. 2 things we'll always remember him fondly for. The unicorn showed up big in 2 moments, exactly 2 moments in the entirety of his career.
I think the most impressive thing there was that he went to the bowl game. It was a New Year's Six game.
That's true.
And he was allowed to play.
And he was eligible.
That's right.
Man, think of all the weed smoking that could have been done before that game that he found a way to avoid or somehow not test positive for. Good on you. Good on you, unicorn. That must have been a tough few weeks. Whoo! Judging by the other bowl games.
That he didn't have to attend. We didn't have to bring him.
He must have been like scratching it, like, oh, guys. How soon
Tyrone Biggums?
Yeah. How soon is that game?
Red balls?
It's 105 degrees outside. He's like, whoa, it's chilly in here. When are we playing that game? It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. That the holiday season is also known as engagement season. Now that the season's over, it's time for some planning. Social Catering has several options for your wedding event and catering needs. They're Tallahassee's largest catering company, and they manage event spaces at venues like Madison Social, Township, and The Gathering. They can plan all of your wedding events, engagement parties, bridal brunches, rehearsals, even wedding receptions. No new rock on the finger? Hey, doesn't matter. Whatever the event, they've got you covered. For more details, email matt@madisonsocial.com. Again, that's matt@madisonsocial.com.
Hey, Seminole fans, the weather's still chilly, but the prices are hot, hot, hot during the winter clearance event happening now at Garnet & Gold. For a limited time only, take an unbelievable 40% off regular priced Florida State outerwear, including jackets, sweats, and long sleeve tees. And take an additional 30% off all clearance items. Save big time during the winter clearance event on now at all 3 Garnet & Gold locations, West Pensacola Street, Killarn, and our flagship store on Governor Square Boulevard. If you're a Seminole, we're your store. Shop local and go Noles. Hi, this is Gene Deckeroff for Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. 2019 is here, and we've got to get rid of all the remaining 2018s. And the only way to do that is to offer employee pricing on over 50 Jeep Wranglers in stock. We've never been able to offer such unbelievable prices on Jeep Wranglers, and with over 50 in stock, they all must go. Buy one for as low as $29,900 or save up to $5,600 on in-stock vehicles. The all-new 2019 Ram 1500 is Motor Trend Truck of the Year, and it's breaking all kinds of records. We have over 80 Ram 1500s in stock with up to $11,000 off MSRP. You can't go wrong. Motor Trend Truck of the Year and up to $11,000 off MSRP. It's the deal of the year. There's only one place to go. Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle. We're right on the corner and always right on the price. Or visit us on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. Dealer retains all rebates and incentives plus tax, tag, and dealer fee.
We're completing our descent and will arrive in TLH shortly.
Oh, I'm so happy to be home.
Once we land, you can take off again with savings from the City of Tallahassee.
What do you mean?
The City of Tallahassee offers rebates for up to $300 in savings when you purchase energy-efficient appliances.
Wow, that would be a huge help.
The city also offers free energy audits.
What's an energy audit?
It's when an energy auditor comes to your home at the time that's convenient for you, examines your structure, and checks your energy and water systems. Then, they recommend changes that could save you energy, water, and money. The city also offers free ceiling insulation grants for qualifying customers.
Man, the city sure offers a lot of ways to save money. Once we land, I will check out all of the products and services the city has to offer. This makes me proud to call Tallahassee home.
Thank you for flying with us today. Don't forget that you You can take off with savings with the City of Tallahassee. From rebates for Energy Star appliances to insulation grants. You can save energy, water, and money. Visit talgov.com for more information.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Hurry in for the Ace 20% off bag sale. Ace Rewards members get 20% off almost anything that fits inside the bag. Not an Ace Rewards member? Sign up is free and easy. Find great deals throughout the store on great brands like Craftsman and Valspar Paint. Plus, stock up and save on everything you need to take care of your home. Don't miss the 20% off bag sale this Saturday and Sunday, only at Ace. Offer valid at participating stores only. Additional conditions and exclusions apply. See store for details.
Roberts Elementary School is proud to host the 10th annual Trent 10K, formerly the Trot, in honor of Trent McElroy, a Roberts fourth grader who lost his battle to childhood cancer in 2013. All proceeds from the race go to the Trent's Touch Foundation, which supports local families battling pediatric cancer. This race is a longtime community favorite and is being held at Roberts Elementary School on January 26th. The 1 mile fun run starts at 8 a.m. and the 10K and 5K begin at 8:30 a.m. You can register online, thetrent2019.eventbrite.com. That's the Trent2019.eventbrite.com. Support this race and help a local child leave cancer in the dust.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. Pacers guard Victor Oladipo will have surgery on a ruptured tendon in his right quad. He will miss the rest of the season. Oladipo got hurt in the second quarter last night against the Raptors. He leads the Pacers, averaging 19 points a game this season. James Harden of the Rockets poured in a career-high 61 against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden last night, but ESPN's Jackie McMullen has some concerns. Harden is averaging 37 minutes a game.
There's only two other players averaging more minutes than that, and it's Bradley Beal and Anthony Davis. They're 25 years old. James Harden's about to be 30 in August. And I'm telling you, when I talked to Mike D'Antoni last year when all this started, he told me, I want to keep James Harden at 34 minutes a night. Yeah. And that was when Chris Paul was healthy and Clint Capella was healthy. I get that. But I would have grave concerns going forward when you start to get to the postseason if you're going to play this guy this many minutes and ask him to do this much.
Knicks center Enes Kanter is frustrated by his reduced role with the team and hinted he'd rather be traded. Knicks coach David Fizdale has taken Kanter out of the rotation while trying to develop younger players like Luke Cornett and Mitchell Robinson. The Dodgers will sign free agent outfielder A.J. Pollock. Pollock played for the Diamondbacks last year and already turned down a $17.9 million qualifying offer for next season to stay in Arizona. Major League Baseball is proposing going back to the old 15-day DL. The rule was changed to create a 10-day DL back in 2016. In part, they want to change it back because teams have been moving relievers up and down from the majors to the minors to keep more pitchers available. Big league hitters combined for a .248 batting average last year, the lowest since 1972.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Not for nothing, but I'm just kind of curious. Where would you rank Victor Oladipo's ruptured quad on that list that we've kept on the Jeff Cameron Show for years of worst injuries? Now, because we have the visual evidence repeatedly on a loop in our brain from the leg striking cart, shattering bone going back through the other side of the sock, from that college football game on a Thursday night, whatever that poor bastard's name was, who it now escapes me, that injury was always kind of the one that we held on high, even above Theismann, even above, you name it, little kid for Louisville.
Oh, that one's special. How about Marcus Lattimore?
No, that's not even on the top 10.
Really?
Not even on the top 10. I mean,
remember watching that?
Oh, it was brutal. It sucked. But we've seen similar injuries where the leg gets turned backwards like that, where the knee pops out, gets hyperextended, and it's like I hate it for him. I'm not saying I don't feel bad and not that it's not a bad injury. It is a bad injury. That kid for UCF this year, the quarterback, Jesus, man, that was
Well, how about the Dallas injury to Hearns in the playoffs?
Or Alex Smith, your hero. that injury with the leg bouncing around backwards and behind him. Back in the day, Jason Kendall stepping on first base, foot's on backwards.
Yeah, that was
foot's on backwards. I've never seen anything like it.
SportsCenter showed it one time, and I was watching live when they showed it, and they didn't show it the rest of any of their episodes.
I mean, I'm a huge Pirates fan, obviously, and Jason Kendall steps on the bag and then does the hop on the one foot because you realize, like, oh, I've twisted my ankle. No, dude, your foot is facing home plate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when he goes to the ground and it's just flapping all in the air.
Yeah, that's
a toughie.
Yeah.
But Victor Oladipo ruptured his quad and also ripped a tendon in his knee to boot. It bent awkwardly. He ran into – you can see it. It doesn't look terrible, nowhere close to terrible as some of these others. You know, this doesn't look like, oh, my God, that's number one. No. But when you read that, I mean, think about your quad. Look at your quad. That's big.
Quad pain is
–
like a calf cramp is pretty bad, right?
But if you've got a problem, calf cramp,
what?
That I could tell you about a ton of injuries. I could rattle off several types of injuries: dislocated shoulder, broken hand, just whatever. And everybody goes, "Yeah, that's a tough. That hurts. That's not good. That's terrible." And then you go, middle of the night, wake you up from a slumber, calf cramp, locked into a tennis ball form where you can't get it out, and you're trying to bend your foot back, and you sit straight up. People, that vision is worse than the aforementioned dislocated shoulder and broken hand. Like, you hear that, you know those other injuries are more significant.
Yeah.
And take longer to recover from, and they're big to-dos. But calf cramps are really just cruel and unusual.
They are cruel, but they're nothing compared to quad pain if you ever messed up your quad.
Oh, yeah. Well, you don't want to mess up your lower back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your tailbone. Oh, hurt your tailbone bad.
I have a problem with my tailbone.
Tailbone's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be hurting your tailbone.
Like if I ever do a back-to-back drive, like let's say I go visit family one day, I come back the next, and it's 4 hours each way. It's about 7 hours is the cutoff that I can do in a car in 2 days.
You got to witness my sciatic nerve pain back in the day.
That was...
Oh, I was a cripple.
Oh, I
could barely walk.
You're willing to put us both in danger, and so you could continue
Safely,
driving.
Though, I made it happen.
Yeah, I know you're like standing up in the driver's seat.
I was in a lot of pain. But my man Bill saved me. Fit and functional at the time. Later on, Frequency XP. All of that helped me. And now I never have that problem.
So that's what helped.
Literally. Yeah, it changed me.
You don't tell that story enough.
That's a true story. Yeah, I had really bad pain there, and he strengthened all the muscles around.
No other stories aren't true. I mean,
no, he got it. He changed me. I went to him. Now we're dear friends, but back then we weren't. I was like, hey, man, I can't. When I drive, I'm dead. I'm in agony. He goes, oh, you got weakness in this and this and this. We'll make it happen. We're good to go. Within a month, it's good to go. That's a true story.
I never heard the follow-up to that. I thought it was just a freak thing, but it was fixed. Well, sciatic nerve. I mean, you work with older citizens, and you were just ahead of your time.
That was just weird. Anyhow, good luck, Victor Oladipo. Sweet Jesus.
That's like a top 15, man. A ruptured quad. Come on.
A ruptured quad, and we've gone through these over the years. Every time I come back to Adrian Beltre.
Oh, well.
And you don't want me to say it aloud every time I bring it up. But first of all, I just don't understand what he was doing playing third base without a cup. I just don't know what he was doing.
So for the new audience that doesn't know what happened to him, you can guess now. Yes.
But the other side of that I always bring up when we have one of these injuries that makes it to the show. Somebody gets hurt every night. Whether it's the NHL, the NBA, you name it, somebody gets hurt every night, college basketball. But I don't feel the need to bring it up. We're not going to sit here and prattle on about injury every night. But if I think it has a chance to edge its way into the top 10, top 15, I bring it up. And I understand that my opinion isn't the only one that counts here. This is everybody. It's just kind of a collective deal. So that's why I threw it to you and said, is a ruptured quad worthy of, and this has been going on for 20 years, we've had this list, is a ruptured quad worthy, oh, man.
Think about everything you do. Just
walking.
The quad is kind of necessary.
Oh, sure. It's just like a ruptured hamstring, like a ripped hamstring. Or,
Costochondritis.
Yes, or if you pull your groin from the pubic bone.
Oh, yeah.
That's I mean, what are we doing there? That's a toughie. But ruptured quad, I thought, I got to bring it up today because it's got a chance to make the list. I don't think at the end of the day it makes the list. I don't, because whether it's compound fractures of any kind, those are always 1 and 2 high on the list. For men, obviously, we're talking about any kind of shot to the boys, any kind of severe pain to the boys.
Adrian Beltre level.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Charles Johnson level. The game that the famed Charles Johnson foul ball straight off a home plate, back up there, rattle in the cage.
From home plate to the cage.
And he was wearing a cup and he passed out. The boys were so rattled.
Body said, "This is too much.
I can't do it. We're going to check out for a little while, Charles. I can't let you go through this. This is the replay of that is special."
Well, I don't know about the pain level in the moment. I mean, of course, all of these are immense. Of course they are. But you're talking about.
Well, Beltre picked up the ball and threw the man out at first base, despite.
That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
That play is why he's in the Hall of Fame.
You could have 1,200 hits, so a 230 career batting average.
He took a shot to the boys and picked up the ball and threw it to first, and then had to leave the game. And it was found out that I don't want to say it, but there was blood there and all that. It was swelling and blood.
They were playing taps by the end of the night.
It was an awful situation. Mm-hmm. Awful situation. And every time I bring up that story, every man driving goes, "Stop, stop, stop."
The recovery time from a ruptured quad and the pain after you can take painkillers for a lot of things, but a ruptured quad, you've had hamstring issues, but the hamstring's useful, but it's not useful in all situations. The quad is involved like forevermore.
Well, you just got to immobilize it at this point. I mean, he's going to go through surgery and have to wear a whole big to-do.
Yeah.
By the way, the pain is bad. Okay, so there are levels of pain that where it's so bad you pass out. These are people who lose an arm in a car accident or something like that. You just pass out. You just, I can't take
Charles Johnson.
The pain is so bad, we're just done here. I got my only response is for the body to go into shock or I pass out, right? But then there's that level just below it where your body doesn't protect you to that extent, doesn't allow for you to pass out, and you have to endure until they can shoot you full of goofballs and immobilize the situation. I always know when it's exceedingly bad, like to that threshold to where we're close, where he's about to fall out on us, as I beat the mic, is when the player who's being assured by the trainer who has run out there to talk to him and is kind of one guy's rubbing his shoulder, the other guy's like, look at me. They don't want you looking down at the injury or anything else. They're trying to talk you through it. When they just look away and they fixate on a spot, that's when you know. Oladipo was just staring off in the distance. They put a towel over his leg. They weren't letting him look at it, and he just staring off in the distance, just, to the heavens. I'm just going to stare right at that lady in row 72 eating her popcorn, and I'm going to continue to look at her. It's like giving a speech. I'm going to fixate on the one guy who appears to be paying attention here, and we're going to have eye contact, and then I'll find somebody else. But I'm just going to do this now to not have to think about all that other stuff.
I think in terms of championships, if you want to break this up into categories, the undisputed champion for the saddest one.
That's going to be Cadillac.
It's Cadillac Williams.
Yeah.
Screaming to the heavens.
Not again.
Not again.
That's tough.
With the silver medal being Ryan Howard, which is the final out of one postseason.
I don't know why that always makes me laugh, because it's so perfectly suited. It's like the final out.
Well, if it happened to the Mets, it would be perfectly suited. That's something that happens to us. It just happened that, Philly got this one.
When Ryan Howard had that happen, and I don't root for that, but I remember laughing. I'm like, well, that is.
So this season's over, and so's next year.
And so's your career.
Right.
That was nuts.
But I think the scariest ones are like what happened to Hearns in the playoffs, where you get bent back and you're not going anywhere. There's nothing you could do, but you've got time to consider that this is happening. And then the worst case scenario happens. Next thing you know, he's face down on the ground and his foot's pointing up to the top of the building.
Yeah, the part that's sad is with the Cadillac, the not again, hearing somebody's anguish and crying out, like knowing their career's over, and you can hear it audibly, and the announcers are upset, where they're like, "Oh no!" They were shook, they were choked up. Guys screaming out "not again," knowing his career's over. That's heartbreaking. There have been a few like that over the years. If a player begins to cry, because these are tough sons of guns, If a player begins to cry at any point, I don't question it. Like I'll make fun of you crying about a loss.
Unless you're Paul Pierce in a wheelchair.
And you're not hurt.
No, you come back out.
Come back out and play. Yeah, that was bizarre. But no, if you cry and it's legit from injury,
Usually that's the guy who suffered one before because he knows everything that he has to go through to get back.
The rehab. Yeah. Or if it's late in their career, they know that's the end of their career. There is no coming back from this. You've seen pitchers blow out their arm and just give that faraway look and tear up. They know their career is over. Like, I'm 37 years old. I'm not having Tommy John and bouncing back from this. We're done here. I just threw my last pitch. You've heard guys break their arm on pitches. Like, you hear the snap, and then, no! I mean, Jesus.
I've never heard that.
Yeah?
That's why I'm laughing, because that sounds so fictional.
No, yeah.
I'm sorry, that's
you
terrible.
mean like the far away?
I've never heard,
yeah.
Like you hear, like the
sound
pitch,
of
and then you hear somebody yell, no. I don't know why that's so funny. I'm sorry. Maybe it's the meds.
No, yeah, like maybe not no, but why?
Oh well, yeah.
No, they're not on the ground yelling, "Why hast thou forsaken me?" rolling around. I'm just saying, I've heard people. Maybe
well,
not.
It's the famed Victor Zambrano game. I've never seen better stuff on a day prior to like this most recent.
Yeah, he's going to throw
Kimbrell's,
a no-hitter.
Oh, he's going to. I mean,
easily.
I was getting in trouble at work. I was working in the kitchen, and I was working out in the dining room for the golf club I was at. Very white collar job, but busting tables, and I would stop at the one with the TV because the stuff I didn't care about us hitting. I didn't care about us hitting. I had never seen stuff like that. And then, of course, he only lasted whatever it was, 2-3 innings. But he struck out almost every... I mean, and nobody was close. It looked like wiffle ball. That's how good the stuff was. But his arm clearly couldn't handle it. It was...
Yeah. When you're going, wee!
And he did not yell, no!
No, he got mad.
I think he was...
I think he was pissed.
It was a Fox Saturday baseball game.
He was angry. At Jay Cameron Show, you guys are killing me. I just spit out my water with the story about rattling the boys. Hashtag a-hole. Well, thank you, CG, but I got to tell you that I don't like bringing that up.
Hashtag a-hole.
It means somebody else has been injured to the extent of where we have to have the conversation. Does it enter the top 10? I guess so. The conclusion here, and we'll move on from injury. Sorry, we go down that rabbit hole once every 6 months. Real quick, the conclusion is it does not make the top 10. Ruptured quad.
I think it's a top 15. Of everything you got to go through. Not instant pain. Like pain he feels on the court. It's not the same as a Louisville kid. Not even in the same stratosphere.
God, no, and you saw the bone shutting out. No.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Yo, where the hell are you? Dude, I'm here, sitting at the bar. Where are you? The hell you are? I've been here for 30 minutes. Erroneous. BS. I've been sitting at this bar for 3 hours drinking pecan whiskey. We said Pensacola, dude. Why would we meet there? We're old men, and that's for the kids. Hashtag Northsiders. Did you just hashtag me? Hashtag hell yes. See you in 30. Get the mahi and a beer.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left!
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Want better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Change your oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. You know that sticker on your windshield? Don't look at it now. Wait until the next red light. Okay, check the number on your sticker. Then check your odometer. Is it time? There are 19 Tallahassee area Super Lube locations, which means there's one close to you right now. No appointments, and you're in and out in no time. You could do this today. Super Lube, for better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine.
How I love to Super Lube my car. Yes, sir.
Everybody knows that the holiday season is also known as engagement season. Now that the season's over, it's time for some planning. Social Catering has several options for your wedding event and catering needs. They're Tallahassee's largest catering company, and they manage event spaces at venues like Madison Social, Township, and The Gathering. They can plan all of your wedding events, engagement parties, bridal brunches, rehearsals, even wedding receptions. No new rock on the finger? Hey, doesn't matter. Whatever the event, they've got you covered. For more details, email matt@madisonsocial.com. Again, that's matt@madisonsocial.com.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. Pacers guard Victor Oladipo will have surgery on a ruptured tendon in his right quad. He will miss the rest of the season. Oladipo got hurt in the second quarter last night against the Raptors. He leads the Pacers, averaging 19 points a game this season. James Harden of the Rockets poured in a career-high 61 against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden last night, but ESPN's Jackie McMullen has some concerns. Harden is averaging 37 minutes a game.
There's only two other players averaging more minutes than that, and it's Bradley Beal and Anthony Davis. They're 25 years old. James Harden's about to be 30 in August. And I'm telling you, when I talked to Mike D'Antoni last year when all this started, he told me, I want to keep James Harden at 34 minutes a night. Yeah. And that was when Chris Paul was healthy and Clint Capella was healthy. I get that. But I would have grave concerns going forward when you start to get to the postseason if you're going to play this guy this many minutes and ask him to do this much.
Knicks center Enes Kanter is frustrated by his reduced role with the team and hinted he'd rather be traded. Knicks coach David Fizdale has taken Kanter out of the rotation while trying to develop younger players like Luke Cornett and Mitchell Robinson. The Dodgers will sign free agent outfielder A.J. Pollock. Pollock played for the Diamondbacks last year and already turned down a $17.9 million qualifying offer for next season to stay in Arizona. Major League Baseball is proposing going back to the old 15-day DL. The rule was changed to create a 10-day DL back in 2016. In part, they want to change it back because teams have been moving relievers up and down from the majors to the minors to keep more pitchers available. Big league hitters combined for a .248 batting average last year, the lowest since 1972.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hope you are well. I watched last night Rams-Patriots 17 years ago. Go back and watch that, and I think to some degree you'll remind yourself just how much you really liked Madden. He's good. He was, at that time, still good.
Yeah, I mean, the beginning of his NBC tenure you're talking about?
Yeah, it was the Super Bowl between the Rams and the Patriots from 17 years ago, and I had forgotten that Summerall and Madden did that game, and that I maybe it was nostalgia. Actually, that's a better way of saying it. It was probably less about the insights and more about just hearing those two again. That's the first thing that happened, was I was watching and I went, oh my God, Madden and Summerall did this game? And it's a reminder how quickly things change.
Well, yeah, I mean, so you're talking about Summerall. That's still Fox, but I thought he was good into his early NBC days when it was him and Al Michaels still working together as a team. But then
I'd forgotten. Yeah.
I mean, he was there before Collinsworth. I mean,
yeah, you're right.
That was the original team. Collinsworth feels like he's been there forever, and in some ways he has, but he replaced John.
The 20-17 win was the first indication of Bill Belichick's dominance, right? I mean, the ability to shut down a team that featured Marshall Faulk and Kurt Warner for starters. I mean, that was incredible. Obviously, we know what that receiving core was. The Bucs got an up-close and personal look.
They had a defensive touchdown in that game, did they not?
Yeah.
I mean, that's big. You have that and a kick. I mean, Brady is unbelievable, but that first one, man, especially.
It's funny. I told my wife, I said, I didn't think that I would miss hearing Pat Summerall and John Madden. I didn't think I missed them, and then I heard them, and I realized I did. And I read a column today where somebody wrote something similar, because a lot of people are revisiting that game now since it's a rematch from all those years ago. And guy wrote that basically, yeah, I forgot. I really liked Madden and Summerall. Yeah, those two voices. But it is less about the insight. I mean, Summerall rarely provided, anything more than, and it's a catch.
Even for a big play.
Even for a big play. He would not give in to the moment that way.
Culpepper, Moss, touchdown.
Right. But in a weird way, in an era where everything is over the top, you really miss the understated. So there's that. But also, I think when you go back and look at just all of the elements that are in today's game, yes, there were many of them still. I mean, it's not like we're going back to the 1950s. But there are so many more wrinkles in today's offenses than what you saw in that game just 17 years ago. And we knew that there were aspects of what we would have referred to as gimmicky type formations, plays, eye candy, that kind of stuff. We knew all of that was constant in the college game, and that many of what we see, many of the successes we see today have elements of that and derive from that. But compared to 2002, it's nuts. I mean, that looks like the blandest.
Yeah.
Even for the Rams.
Yeah, even for the Rams.
Even for the Rams.
Show.
Right.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, well, I can recall late college, early working days with the show at the old place of employment. I mean, that was the hard thing about watching the pros. Even when we were in the lost decade and just kind of starting to come out of it. You'd flip from Saturday to Sunday.
Yeah,
and
the fun was gone.
Saturday is variety, and Sunday is about, not even mathematics, because I don't even want to say that anymore, because analytics have changed the NFL for the better. They've made it more aggressive, especially on offense with fourth down math and such. But, I mean, it was about 2nd and 7, 3rd and 3, and getting a first down with a short pass play, and it was all under center. It was all about, getting the ball down the field with a pocket passing quarterback. There was no horizontal element to the game.
I would also note, thinking back on the Bucs-Rams game and the punishment Derek Brooks delivered to Torrey Holt in that game, and if you can recall the audio later on that you hear from that game and where he is telling him he's going to cave his ribs in, it's either Bruce or Holt. I can't remember. I think it was Holt. And Derek Brooks tells him that it's going to be all day, and I'll break your ribs, something to that extent. When you watch the hits from this game, you realize, and what's interesting is clearly it's a plan. Well, they did this the other day. They were talking about the Minnesota Saints game, right? The Minnesota New Orleans game. Brett Favre.
Yeah, I put that on actually our Facebook page today, because it's this day in 2010 that game was played.
Watch that game again, and you realize how many guys would have been thrown out of the game at some point.
It was bounty gate.
It's an assault, and it's unbelievable how late some of those hits are to Favre.
Well, the high-low one towards the end of the game was ridiculous,
unimaginable, and unethical. I mean, it's crazy to think about what they did to that poor man.
I remember I had Minnesota in a pool that playoffs year. We were picking teams who was going to win the Super Bowl, and I was so angry after that game because they turned it over 5 or 6 times. I mean, you had Peterson fumbling inside the 10-yard line.
And then the ultimate interception at the end is so indicative of Favre's career, right?
It was indicative of that entire game, though, because he had another pick earlier in the game where he threw it. I think it was Vilma who picked him off. But then Peterson fumbles inside the 10-yard line going in. It was just, I mean, Minnesota probably went up and down the field 5 more times than New Orleans did. But that year was so magical for the Saints because they generated so many turnovers.
Kept getting turnovers.
Yeah.
But Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce get killed at the beginning of this game, and the Patriots' defensive plan is to intimidate. And there are hits that every one of those hits, I shouldn't say everyone, the vast majority of those hits early in that game today would have been flagged, and it's an entirely different looking game. I didn't realize the extent to which football has changed until I sat down and watched that game. The standards, what's allowed, what's not allowed, what's a penalty, what's not a penalty, have changed radically. Normally you save that for, back, in the 80s, you would have gotten away with this, or this. But when you watch just the early 2000s, mid-2000s, you see how much the game has changed.
Sure. I mean, I could say that for hockey, which is one of my favorite sports. And if you go back and watch the Lightning's Cup run in 2004, the clutching and the grabbing that was allowed in the neutral zone, speed was not allowed to exist in the game. Now, I don't think that hockey is officiated in a way like the NFL is, where it's so ridiculous pro-offense that there are times where the integrity of the game is called into question. It's not that bad, but it's a completely different sport to watch if you go back and look at the old way. The NBA is the same way. With bigs, with a center, it all starts inside-out offense. A couple of months ago, maybe it's now closer to 3, but I caught the first Bulls title. It was Game 5 of Chicago and the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God, that's damn near unwatchable basketball, dude. And that's what I used to love.
Oh, you loved it, and I did too, yeah. Well, the only thing that remained the same, unfortunately for the rest of the NFL, is what Tom Brady does at the end of that game is what he's still doing even today, time and again, and it's maddening. And I don't know why I didn't know this either. Time had taken it away, but that drive that the Patriots go on to win the game, the Vinatieri field goal, the whole deal, that begins at their own 17-yard line. There was only a minute and 20 seconds left when they got the ball back, and they had no timeouts. I didn't remember those other key aspects. 0 timeouts, your own 17. I knew they got the ball late. I knew that there was time. I remember at the time thinking, well, there's time for them to get into field goal range, but will they do that with this young quarterback? Will they do that with a guy,
Take some chances.
Take some chances with this guy, Will they let him throw here? Right. Yeah. But he does, and he makes every throw and every right decision. And he had to because they didn't have the time to spare. But when you watch it, it's the beginning of what we now see, and it's just boop, 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 and it's really quite revealing.
It's damn near literally 20 years later. Same story. I mean, think about that. In the pros, I get it. Quarterbacks are protected in a way they never were, so he probably wouldn't exist still. if the Troy Aikman era rules apply,
where
Brady
they just
probably
teed
would
off on
still be
people.
around.
I mean, Steve Young used to get a concussion every week.
This is like literally true, pretty much.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we're going on 20 years. 20. It's not that far away.
Well, the original greatness of Tom Brady revealed in this drive is the willingness to take the check down, the willingness to take what's there and not force the issue or be baited. Because you see that, and he still does that. He's still smart with the football. I don't know if you saw, by the way, what I retweeted earlier today with Belichick looking at the last drive. Did you see that?
No.
It's the All-22s, Belichick breaking down Kansas City mistakes. It's fascinating.
What? From this past weekend?
Yeah, I just retweeted it earlier this afternoon. Yeah, go look at it. It's awesome. Belichick's candid. He's funny. He goes, well, they made a mistake here. They're in man, but he took the wrong guy, so we just exploited that. And then over here, it's the same play. It's just we just reversed the formation, flip the field, and then we do it here, and then he missed his guy, and we beat him inside, so he just takes that. And he's just showing you what's going on, what they were trying to accomplish, and what the coverage is and why.
So it was their offensive drive?
Yeah.
Well, okay. I was going to say, he's not going to give away their secrets on defense. He's more apt to do that on offense.
But it's fascinating. He's talking about what they were trying to do and what they didn't do, and how the first time it's just a great throw and a great play, and then the second time it's a mistake. It's a blown coverage. And he's like, well, he even says, well, they blew the coverage here. And then they show you what's cool, what you don't see on TV is that Edelman raises his hand as soon as he goes. He realizes they've blown the coverage. And Brady has already looked to his right, but sees Edelman raise his hand. So it is now.
The one thing, so I watched I put a YouTube clip. I think it's like 15 minutes. Maybe I watched half of it. But the end of that Vikings and Saints game, the one that obviously New Orleans, because now they have multiple chapters, and Stephon Diggs is one of them from last year. The pass interference they call in overtime on Minnesota's linebacker is like it's foreshadowing of what's to come. It is the most phantom of pass interference calls you'll ever see in your life. It wasn't on third down, but there were 10 to go. And they weren't in field goal range yet, were the Saints. But that keyed their drive when they end up kicking the 40-yarder to win and go play in the Super Bowl. A lot of key moments in those games. And the funny thing is, you're right, you forget what they look like and feel like so quickly. Unless it's your team. You don't really remember how it looked and felt. If it's your team,
it's etched forever. But I will say, and it is weird to me that we talk about missed calls, blown calls. Like right now, the conversation, we just heard it in SportsCenter. I mean, they sound ridiculous at this point. You've got people wanting to sue the NFL for an official's incompetence. Stop it. I mean, go back and look at your head coach in the first half. Go back and look at how many times you're settling for you're kicking 2 field goals. You got point blank. You got 2 turnovers. Blow them out. You're on the verge of being up 21-0. Instead it's 6. It's 13. You know, I mean, that there are so many moments that why are you throwing the ball on first down? What do you mean? Yes, you got screwed in that call.
That throw on first down is asinine. I don't care how high percentage it is.
No, it's completely asinine. And Peyton's a good coach. He just made a mistake. Good coaches make mistakes. It happens. We've seen Nick Saban make mistakes.
We talked about it last week. Peyton and Breeze together are apt to make some boneheaded mistake at some point. That's what they do. And it's not the fact that they're not great. It doesn't undermine the fact that they're great.
Right.
But there will be a time where Sean Payton, unlike many others who are great coaches, and he's been around for a long time, that he's borderline on in that discussion. You're like, what are you thinking? Where does this come from? Remember the trick play last year?
Yeah,
I know the guy's open in Minnesota.
Yeah.
You don't need that in that situation.
Well, in this game, why do you have Brady off the field? Why do you have a Hall of Famer off the field? I get the whole thing that it was cute.
With Taysom?
Yeah, it was cute, but on third down, he did it this time. No. I'm not taking Drew Brees off the field on third down. So not on 3rd and 4 or 5. No, I'm letting him throw the ball. That's my man. And especially in that situation, he's been really good. Now, down the field, Taysom may throw a better ball.
So do you think in hindsight that L.A. gives us a better Super Bowl than New Orleans would, given what you've seen out of Breeze? Belichick has 2 weeks to prepare for both.
I think that if Donald and Sue play the game of their life, and Donald will, Sue probably will, because I think this is it, you got a chance. Because you can't – both opponents in the postseason that the Patriots faced – couldn't do 2 things. First of all, they never got pressure on Tom Brady.
No sacks, 46 dropbacks this past weekend.
Literally never touched in a meaningful way. Clean pocket the whole time. And then the other problem was both teams allowed for the Patriots to line up and run the ball down their throat with whomever. It didn't matter if it was Michelle. It could have been anybody. Every time they handed the ball off to a running back, it was successful. And I think the Rams, who were terrible in the regular season against the run, over 5 yards per carry, in this postseason it is averaging 2.3 yards per carry. That means that the Fowlers of the world and the Sues of the world, now Donald plays hard all the time, but not every one of those guys that they signed plays real hard.
Yeah.
But they are now. It's a Super Bowl. And there's no questioning their ability, especially if they're summoning it for one night, one chance to win it all. Do they wreak havoc? Are they able to get to the passer enough? Do they shut down the run? We got a game if that happens.
Well, what kind of pressure is it, too? It's interior pressure.
Yeah, you got to get it in the inside, at his feet. And so he can't step into throws time and again.
It was incredible how many times that did not happen. Like, you just law of averages.
Simply didn't happen at all against the Chiefs.
It's kind of like our 3-point shooting at Pitt. You know, at some point it's going to go, right? Because the averages are going to get to the averages, but they never got there.
Well, and the problem the Chiefs had is they were on the field so much for so many plays that they were exhausted in the second half and couldn't get to him. They were powerless to be able to slow him down. The Rams might have a little something for that for one night. Maybe. Now, if we look at it the other way around, I have a hard time believing that Goff is going to have a good game against Belichick. 2 weeks.
They got to run the ball. Got to be able to run the ball. That's it. With one of those two, and they're liking Gurley less and less as time goes on.
No, Gurley's been hurt.
Yeah, I know.
And he is quite clearly hurt. If he's right, and he's the Gurley of the first 13 games of the season.
Well, he's a weapon out of the backfield to catch passes, too.
He's an incredible player, one of the best offensive weapons in football, if he's the Gurley of the first 13 games. If he's the Gurley of the last 3 regular season games and these postseason games, then he's useless to you. And sorry, even though it's a nice story, Anderson is not a threat to the Patriots. So this would be, you need Gurley to be right, I think. A lot of things have to be right.
What do you think? We got a week and a half still, but what do you think the Super Bowl is going to look like? 24-20 or 38-35?
Neither. I think the Patriots are going to blow the Rams out.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
we'll talk on Monday, February the 3rd, and we'll see.
I'm having a hard time finding a way for the Rams to win. Again, the things we just said have to happen. If you get the Patriots -3, -2, I'm on that all day. For me to take the Rams, I need something close to a touchdown.
I think it's 2.5.
Let's go. It's the Goff angle against Belichick.
I don't think he played as poorly as...
No, he played fine.
Yeah.
He played fine.
He missed the one throw. He did.
Yeah.
He turned it down.
Yeah. And he also missed a walk-in touchdown because he was cowardly. But, okay. Gonna need you not to do that.
His third and long throw was the one that impressed me the most. He's rolling to his right, extending the play, and that is a seed. I forget who. It might have been Cooks. I forget who it was, too.
Yeah.
But, it might have been Woods. But it was an absolute seed when they had to have it to continue a drive.
When he's assertive and can step into a he's good. He's fine. But I've seen him look completely befuddled, and I just can't help but think that's a look we're going to see in the Super Bowl because you have so much time to prepare. But it's not like the New England Patriots aren't beatable. They just got beat last year. And Nick Foles lit him up. So, okay. There's a chance. That's the beauty of a one-game scenario. If you can get to him and...
If the Rams had Cooper Kupp, how much more would you believe in their chances?
I'd feel a lot better. A healthy Cooper Kupp and a healthy Gurley changes the dynamic quite a bit, and that's the Rams team that gave people so many problems because there are too many weapons, just too many damn weapons. But you're missing 2 key components here, and I think
the Kupp chemistry is
it's uncanny.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, and they were a different team once he went down, and then obviously that was added to because of the injury to Gurley. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
And sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Hey, Seminole fans, the weather's still chilly, but the prices are hot, hot, hot during the winter clearance event happening now at Garnet & Gold. For a limited time only, take an unbelievable 40% off regular priced Florida State outerwear, including jackets, sweats, and long sleeve tees. And take an additional 30% off all clearance items. Save big time during the winter clearance event on now at all 3 Garnet & Gold locations, West Pensacola Street, Killarn, and our flagship store on Governor Square Boulevard. If you're a Seminole, we're your store. Shop local and go Noles.
Back again and bigger and better. An all-new monster truck lineup, including Bigfoot. The Traxxas Monster Truck Tour, brought to you by Safety Clean. Bigfoot and more, plus freestyle motocross side-by-sides and quad wars, brought to you by Florida Motorsports. Advanced kids tickets from just $8 at TuckerCivicCenter.com. The box office, MonsterTruckTour.com, or charge at 850-583-4871. Subject to service fees. The Traxxas Monster Truck Tour, January 26th and 27th, Dell Tucker Civic Center.
24/7, 365. You're up and at 'em every day, so you don't want something like Medicare Part D to slow you down. At Walgreens, we'll take care of your Medicare Part D prescriptions, saving you time and money. Make the switch to Walgreens today and get more by earning 100 balance reward points and save up to $5 on each Medicare Part D prescription when Walgreens is your preferred pharmacy. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Prescription savings applies to Tier 1 generics when you fill at a preferred versus a non-preferred pharmacy on select plans. Points can't be earned in New York, New Jersey, or Arkansas. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Hurry in for the Ace 20% off bag sale. Ace Rewards members get 20% off almost anything that fits inside the bag. Not an Ace Rewards member? Sign up is free and easy. Find great deals throughout the store on great brands like Craftsman and Valspar Paint. Plus, stock up and save on everything you need to take care of your home. Don't miss the 20% off bag sale this Saturday and Sunday, only at Ace. Offer valid at participating stores only. Additional conditions and exclusions apply. See store for details.
Roberts Elementary School is proud to host the 10th annual Trent 10K, formerly the Trot, in honor of Trent McElroy, a Roberts fourth grader who lost his battle to childhood cancer in 2013. All proceeds from the race go to the Trent's Touch Foundation, which supports local families battling pediatric cancer. This race is a longtime community favorite and is being held at Roberts Elementary School on January 26th. The 1-mile fun run starts at 8 a.m. and the 10K and 5K begin at 8:30 a.m. You can register online, thetrent2019.eventbrite.com. That's the Trent2019.eventbrite.com. Support this race and help a local child leave cancer in the dust.
Coming this February.
Russell Wilson extends the hands he has. Wilson, quick throw. And it's intercepted. Intercepted by Malcolm Butler. Butler has it at the one. Malcolm Butler stepped in front of the throw. No way.
For the first time, Tallahassee's sports monster is your home for the biggest game of the year.
Zero's on the clock. It's over. The Eagles have beaten the New England Patriots.
Super Bowl 53 is on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
It's Golick and Wingo.
To think that Zion, to say, okay, stop playing basketball now until the draft. Do you think he's not going to go play anywhere? I mean, would that be the plan?
No, he'll be on the court.
All you're going to do is work out? What do all these guys do in the offseason anyway? They're all hooping somewhere. These guys just love to hoop.
And let's be serious. Playing for Duke right now would be a hell of a lot of fun.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Not going to do the coin toss. You know, by the way, I was reading this the other day that of the prop bets at the Super Bowl, that's one of the biggest.
Coin toss.
The coin toss, because people who know nothing about either team can get involved in a coin toss bet, and it's 50-50, and they want to get the juices going early. So you're like, well, that's the first thing I can really bet on. I'm in on the coin toss. I mean, that and like the national anthem length and those kinds of things are where everybody goes with that. I mean, That's what you got.
Well, it's just a pure bet, right? It's like roulette, essentially. Red or black, what are you picking?
Yeah, and the Super Bowl prop bets, coin toss, heads or tail, coin toss outcome, coin toss winner. Which team will choose the coin toss? That wins the coin toss. What will they choose to receive or to kick?
Defer.
Yeah.
Defer is probably the biggest one, right?
Yeah, defer to the second half. It's actually even odds, receive, kickoff, or defer right now. It's even odds anyhow. But the length of the national anthem, Gladys Knight, it's currently at 107 seconds.
That'll be the best act all night.
I don't know who's the halftime.
It's Maroon 5 is the halftime. They got Big Boy from Outkast there, though.
Didn't Maroon 5 already do it? I feel like a lot of those.
Coldplay did. If that's who you're thinking of. I just bring back Bruno. It's great. Bruno and Lady Gaga. Just alternate them every other year. It's fine.
I saw Prince. You can't bring him back. But I saw him at Miami.
Was special.
U2 was great. But it's been, I'm not eager for things at halftime. Let's just put it that way these days. Will any player take a knee during the national anthem for the Super Bowl? Will Gladys Knight take a knee?
Really? Do they have inside intel on that? If you say yes, what's the
Well, yes is plus 600, no is minus 1,000.
Hey, Gladys, could you do me a favor?
Well, everybody loves these types of bets because if you get inside information, it just takes a friend of a friend, and the next thing you know. But there's broadcasting props to boot. Super Bowl rating. You can bet on the Nielsen ratings. Over under 44.5 for the rating.
Oh, what's over? Minus 300?
Minus 115.
That's ridiculous. That's free money. Didn't this weekend's game, the AFC title, draw like 55? It was something stupid.
I didn't go back and look.
Check.
Yeah, I didn't go back and look.
Go check our friend John Alrand, who has all that information.
Well,
always.
I would guess that it's going to be because you have a team from Los Angeles, first of all, but then also you have, a known commodity, all too well known, in Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and the New England Patriots. Yeah, that's crazy. You got people, you've got, will CBS show a replay? Here's one. Now, this gets fun. My guess is going to be yes. Will CBS show a replay of a missed pass interference? I can't speak today. The CBS missed pass interference call on the Rams and Saints game, or during the Rams and Saints.
Okay,
That's
so
the
big third down play.
Yeah.
Will they show the botched call?
Yeah.
Well, it's not their network, but it is the NFL. I guess they can pull rank for the highlight. I don't think so.
Total times Jim Nantz and Tony Romo will say the name Gronk. Over, under 3.5.
Over. I mean, they're not going to throw the ball to him?
3.5 is a good number.
I'm trying to envision in my head who says it more. I would think probably Romo would say it more than Jim Nantz.
Here's a prop bet for you. Nantz or Romo say GOAT.
Yeah, Nantz will. Nantz is in love with Brady.
Plus 360 if you go yes. There you go, buddy.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to hear now, obviously, Dynasty. The word Dynasty is all. These are all broadcasting props. You got a ton of these. You got who will Boomer Esiason pick to win the game? What? Who will Phil Simms pick to win the game? You've got. This is a good one. Will the government shutdown be over before the start of the Super Bowl?
Okay, so here you go. I got this from Richard Deitch. 2019 Pats Chiefs did 53.9 million viewers, and that over/under is at 44 and change.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Who will have the largest betting handle? Now you got gamblers betting on gambling, which I love. This this is so great. Gamblers betting on gambling, not teams.
Who will? So is it like Money
Nevada,
Mayweather?
Jersey,
Yeah.
which state will have it? Any other state is plus 8,000, but you could get for New Jersey plus 100. That's interesting. For you and me. Other people are like, what? How many songs will be played during the halftime show? Over, under, 6.
Too many.
Yeah.
I'm going to play Prince. You're right. I'm going to go to Prince then Bruno Mars for my halftime. That's what I'm going to do.
Will Bill Belichick announce his retirement after the game? If you say yes, you're at plus 2,500.
There's no way.
This year has now guaranteed, because remember last year, and Brady played great in the second half of the Super Bowl. He was spectacular, even though they lost. There have been pockets of time there where you thought, okay, I wonder, is Bill close? Does he recognize the end of the dynasty? Is he frustrated? Remember, there was the off-the-field stuff, that big article, all these things. But here's the problem. Brady's been brilliant. He's been brilliant. So no matter what Bill Belichick thought about Garoppolo or anybody else, or how, whether or not he thought he was about to be hamstrung by Brady's declining abilities or whatever it might be, Brady's been fantastic. If he has time, he's still freaking brilliant.
Yeah, if he has time. Yeah.
But that's it, really, kind of anybody. If they've got time to stand back there in a clean pocket and step into a throw, they're gonna. Listen. If you're good, if you're a Pro Bowler and he's an all-time great, you give those guys, that caliber of player, that much time to stand and throw the football, they're gonna throw it accurately.
Well,
that's what they've proven.
I'm not gonna go Kellerman on this or anything like that, but if he wasn't sacked one time and it still goes to overtime in that game, and he throws a costly interception in the red zone, this game was not going to be a game if they score on that drive. I posit.
But here's the thing. The ball is in the man's hands. That's the interception. He doesn't throw it right to the guy.
Oh, he did. It was undercut. That was covered all the way. The Gronk one. I'm talking
about.
I'm
talking about the
one. I'm not talking about the one in the second half. No, to go up 14-0. They're going in.
Right. No, that was
they're going to be up 14-0.
Well, that was arrogance on Belichick's part, too. Why are you calling that play? Or actually, McDaniels play? What are you doing? Run the ball.
I don't know, but he's got an option to check out of that.
Listen, we saw 2 quarterbacks this year do that.
Roethlisberger.
He did the same thing.
Yeah.
That's a play they like to run. I don't know.
Against Denver, yeah.
It's nuts, right? 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks making that exact same throw, having the exact same thing happen.
But not the GOAT. The GOAT's not supposed to do that.
There is no quarterback, no matter how great, that doesn't make a mistake. But he was brilliant along this entire run, and they've been great. Now they've had a running game, and he's protected, and he makes throws. But in that situation, you run the ball down their throat.
He's not the sheriff. I'm not saying he's the sheriff for Title II. But
the problem is he's making hard throws to the wide side of the field still. This is just unsettling to me. He's making throws he shouldn't be able to make anymore.
He's played better in the postseason than he did in the regular season.
By a lot.
Yeah.
It's
he was vulnerable in the regular season. And even still, he had a near miss on another interception that we forget about these things. I think he's looked above average to really good, but I'm not saying he's not like perfect.
There's no perfect quarterback. All of them, and yes, we do tend to forget about mistakes, but what I'm saying, at his age, with time to throw, he is deadly accurate still, and he's making throws that make you guard the entirety of the field. Breeze can't make those throws. He can't. He just doesn't. And he did it in the regular season until about week 8. And then something started to happen. I don't know if that's wear and tear.
Well, you saw he did the old motion, the old shoulder motion in the
wrong.
First half of that game on
Something's terribly
Sunday.
wrong there. That deep ball that ends up being, I think it gets caught. It is caught. Is that the deep ball again?
As underthrown, right?
It's
it's
like 20 yards underthrown. The guy's beat off the line. If he can get it, there's a walk-in. But he throws it. It's so late. That's the
that was the key one before the third down call. Yeah.
Well, and there's the play where we're going LaMarcus Joyner. I'm just like, LaMarcus, that's a pick. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
But
that's the same one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a terribly thrown ball. Brady's not doing that.
No, but honestly, you're not seeing him get the ball down that far at all. He knows what he's doing. He manages everything he has. I'm not saying that he's not a legend still who can play at a really high level.
I'm saying if he has to make that throw, he makes that throw. He doesn't have to do it a lot, and they don't design a lot of those kinds of plays because they don't have the receivers to. But he makes that throw. Now, he doesn't have 10 of those in him. He's got 1 or 2 in a game, and he makes it. It's weird. It pisses me.
Couldn't make a game-winning catch last year against Philly. Got alligator arms.
Oh, he just wasn't athletic enough, Tom. I don't think it was alligator arms. He just wasn't athletic enough. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Best law firm, so avoid the underdog and go with the favorite, Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, listen to Dave.
Andro 400, I really love it. I've lost 50 pounds. I was a size 38 waist. I've gone down to a 32 waist. My mood has changed. I don't get stressed out. It gave me so much more energy. It feels like I'm 25. I'm so happy. I'm just a completely different man.
Andro 400 Max, an extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Go to andro400.com or call 888-510-9336. That's 888-510-9336.
Want better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Change your oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. You know that sticker on your windshield? Don't look at it now. Wait until the next red light. Okay, check the number on your sticker. Then check your odometer. Is it time? There are 19 Tallahassee area Super Lube locations, which means there's one close to you right now. No appointments, and you're in and out in no time. You can do this today. Super Lube, for better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine.
How I love to Super Lube my car. Yes, sir.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Hurry in for the Ace 20% off bag sale. Ace Rewards members get 20% off almost anything that fits inside the bag. Not an Ace Rewards member? Sign up is free and easy. Find great deals throughout the store on great brands like Craftsman and Valspar Paint. Plus, stock up and save on everything you need to take care of your home. Don't miss the 20% off bag sale this Saturday and Sunday, only at Ace. Offer valid at participating stores only. Additional conditions and exclusions apply. See store for details.
Tickets are now available for Tallahassee's largest annual business event, the Power Forward Speaker Series, presented by First Commerce Credit Union. This year's speaker is Shark Tank's Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. The 6th annual Power Forward Speaker Series will be held Wednesday, February 6th from 3:30 to 5 p.m. at Ruby Diamond Concert Hall on FSU's campus. For tickets, go to tickets.fsu.edu, or for more information, visit firstcommercecu.org/powerforward.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Recently, I've seen a lot of commercials from attorneys and public adjusters trying to cash in on the hurricane damages to your home or business. Using these individuals could result in a reduction in your insurance claim reimbursement. As a licensed roofing and general contractor, we know how to navigate insurance claims so that you don't have to share your reimbursement with an attorney or a public adjuster. If you have questions, give us a call. Our advice is free. Turning your claim over to an attorney or a public adjuster is not.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Makes me happy to see the cherubic face of one Stan Van Gundy and that mustache. He has been awakened at a totally unreasonable hour. I don't even want the visuals of you stumbling out of bed at whatever time you have, past whatever M&M's wrappers were on the floor of your hotel. What that part right? I can see into your soul.
You got it.
How many? Peanut M&Ms or regular M&Ms?
No, regular M&Ms. And the choice I had to make last night was, do I eat them last night before bed or save them for the morning? So we ate about half the bag last night and saved the other half for this morning. That's what woke me up.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Are breakfast M&Ms disgusting, or are M&Ms always wonderful?
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Pacers guard Victor Oladipo has a ruptured tendon in his right quad. He will miss the rest of the season. Oladipo got hurt in the second quarter last night against the Raptors. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
The best player on the team that none of us ever talk about in the Eastern Conference. They're only 3 games out of first place, and it looks like a long rehab ahead for Victor Oladipo.
LeBron James will be out again tonight when the Lakers play the Timberwolves. This will be the 15th game James has missed with a left groin strain. Point guard Rajon Rondo, a game-time decision, trying to come back from finger surgery. U.S. Open champ Naomi Osaka will play for the Australian Open title Saturday against 2-time Wimbledon champ Petra Kvitova. The winner of the match will also take over the #1 world ranking. More live tennis from Melbourne at 3:30 a.m. Eastern with the men's semifinal between top seed Novak Djokovic and Lucas Pouille. The winner gets Rafael Nadal in the final. While they're preparing for the Super Bowl, the Rams sign a settlement that could pay up to $24 million in compensation to their old fans in St. Louis.
Brought to you by Discover. Get your free credit scorecard today. Even if you're not a Discover customer, it includes your FICO credit score, and checking your scorecard won't hurt your credit. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Signed details of that contract. $1 million a year. Kind of knew all these things. Got it officially as of yesterday, and various outlets, of course, reporting that. I cited War Chant earlier, but it's on several. And it's a $200,000 from the university, the Seminole Boosters, with the other $800,000 to make up that $1 million. And again, that's not surprising. I just saw where another raise was given to Brent Venables at Clemson. He's already the highest paid assistant. He gets another $200,000 on top of it. I mean, you can't get this guy out of there. If you're happy somewhere and you're really good at what you do, I'd say it's worth it. And more importantly, I think we wanted to make sure that Florida State was in a position to protect itself. And at this point, Florida State will pay the buyout to Houston, and it makes sense. There's still monies to be paid to Houston as we try to figure out this Clement situation on the offensive line as well. But it's interesting to look. If Briles rides out for a lateral position, he's on the hook. But if he takes a head coaching job or goes to the NFL, he doesn't owe the university anything. Seems like a fair contract, and so Florida State gets their guy.
Interesting to me that the buyout is, what, $500K?
$500,000
if he leaves for a lateral position in college football. But we got to pay Houston $900K? I don't know. I find that interesting that the buyout is that coach or prospect friendly. Maybe we rework that if he succeeds in year one and you extend him. I don't know. But I would think that this is a deal that's almost like a temporary statement deal, and then if he comes in and lights it up on offense, first of all, he'll be a hot commodity at other schools. But if he comes in and makes significant improvements, I would think there's an extension and perhaps a provision put in for a stronger buyout.
Yeah, and I think that you're willing to concede this because you're desperate. This is what this was all along. We knew that, right? We talked about this at the time, that if after 1 year you're going to wash your hands of all things to do with the offense and you're an offensive coach, and part of what the allure of your hire was is that you were bringing your system and that you would be, directly involved. The Gulf Coast offense, lethal simplicity, all of that, it's yours. Now to release your stranglehold on that and turn it over to somebody else, and it is different. Kendall Briles' offense is different. It's similar. There are elements of what Willie took when he went to visit Baylor and all of that, but Briles has some differences, and hence the reason he wants to bring his guys in. you recognize you just don't have time to figure it out. Yeah. You got to bring in a known commodity, a guy who's averaged no less than 34 points a game in these last two stops. So he's been that kind of successful, and you're willing to hand it over.
Well, and it's not a giant raise for him either to go from place to place. State tax is a wash, right? Because Texas has no state tax. Many were speculating this would be like $1 1/4. That would be the final price.
I think that's what they thought. Yeah,
maybe we paid less, so in turn the buyout is less money, fewer dollars. I don't know, but I would think that if this thing is a success after year one, you're going to see probably some new terms to that deal. If not an outright raise, maybe a raise that's matched up with a higher buyout.
I think it's so early in the game to do this, and it's almost silly to do it, but it is sports talk radio, and we're nothing if not speculative. How much success is he going to have? What's a reasonable expectation to place on Kendall Briles in this offense in year one? Well, it begins with, can you block it up? The same thing that was the talking point last year is the talking point going into this year. But I'm going to guess, and I think safely assume, that Florida State will not be worse on the offensive line than they were this past year. I'm going to assume that with the bodies they're bringing in, and grad transfers still to be named, JUCOs, and then the high school kids, you're going to be able, and maybe, God forbid, a healthy Landon Dickerson, who's a really good player when he's healthy, really good, and still wants to be here.
If he's a guard, too. You know?
Well, and they can put him back at guard, right. You just can't be worse. You can't. They'll be better. They may be significantly better. Now, people hear that and they go, oh, settle down. No. They could be significantly better and still not great, not even good. I don't need them to be good. We just need them to be something close to average. Something close to average. Even slightly below average. You go, okay, if they had a slightly below average last year, they would have won 2 more games.
Agreed, 100%.
So, they would have avoided disaster. They would have gone to a bowl. It wouldn't have been a great season, but it would have been palatable. So they only have to ascend to average. If they ascend or slightly below average. If they ascend to slightly below average and Kendall Briles' system does what it's done wherever he's been, which is put points on the board. Florida State with that schedule, this is what we're talking about, the marriage of a lot of things that seem reasonable to expect. That schedule being easy, this hire being an upgrade over Walt Bell, the offensive line showing just a modicum of improvement, all of those things, and the fact that you have skill position players, good ones, and then maybe the emergence of something better at linebacker on the other side of the ball, like an Amari Gaynor could represent that, right?
Yeah, tighten up on the back end, too, right, with perhaps a new position coach and obviously better prospects, more depth.
Yeah. So I don't think it's crazy to suspect that he's going to have some success, that Florida State's going to be a much better team this year than last. Better be, but I think they will be. I think it's reasonable to expect that. They could be your classic fool's gold. Florida State could be Miami from a couple years ago. Florida State, we've seen those teams get off to quick starts because the schedule was easy and the ball bounced the right way, turnovers galore, and then all of a sudden they were the talk of the town, and we thought, little smoke and mirrors there for Miami. I don't think they're that good, but they are 7-0. It doesn't matter the reasons. To me, at this point, what you're trying to do is you're trying to salvage something here that you thought you were going to get in year one. Usually in year one, there's an uptick, obviously both in expectation and enthusiasm and buzz surrounding the program that leads to a really good class, leads to, recruits buying into the new vision. And you take advantage of that. That's the thing you parlay into future successes, which leads to you having a long-standing tenure at a school. That's how you make it to year 6, year 7, year 8 as a head coach, is that you took advantage of the early buzz. Didn't happen in year one. That a lot of times portends of disaster. In order for that to be avoided, year 2 better be a success. And it doesn't really matter why. It matters how you play, but it doesn't really matter how you get to 8 or 9 wins, as long as you do. So if you get there because it's the byproduct of a sorry-ass schedule and slight improvements in key areas and an upgrade on the coaching staff, and it leads one to believe we're something we're not, Like maybe the record says you're really good, but we know they're not really good. Doesn't matter because then Willie Taggart goes into houses and recruits. Now he says, see, listen, I came in an unfavorable situation as a head coach. It was the first ever early signing period. I was trying to put together a staff. Everything was in disarray right from the get-go. We never really got good footing. But now that I've had a chance to kind of figure out what was wrong, make changes to my staff, be here for a year, make those changes in the locker room as well as on the field and to our offense and to our defense. You see we're out here winning 8-9 games. You could be a part of the next 12-win season at Florida State and a playoff-bound team. Come on board. It's an easier sell. That's a very generic sell that I just gave, but I think that's possible if you just fall into 8-9 wins next year.
Well, to spin it back to the question about Briles and will he be successful, to me, I tend to believe so. I tend to believe we're going to be more than incrementally better on offense.
I think so, too.
But I don't know who our quarterback is yet. And it's funny, I still believe that because if you can block it up just a little bit, you don't have to all the time, but you just got to give me a fair chance that I can create some sort of balance for little stretches of a game. I can run the football enough that you honor it, I guess is the bottom line there. Run the quarterback a little bit. Also depends on who your starter is. I think that is going to be a much more organized group. Now, we'll see. That's the most.
If they're not, then we know what has to happen. But
we're laughing about the spring game, but to me, the most important thing of spring practice is just how does the offense practice? How does that look? Because that's Kendall's baby now.
Well, and I'm going to bring that up here in a second as we start the next hour. I'll reveal all that stuff today and kind of reiterate date for the Garnet and Gold game. And I'm going to ask you a question, by the way, because I'm kind of curious. But when we did the schedule, when we went W's and L's, which we always have fun with, I remember thinking as we were going game by game, because it's always this way in a vacuum, and it's always this way if you go game by game and you don't consider the possibility of injury or a team being better than you would have suspected or you being worse than you would have suspected, which all fans have a hard time wrapping their mind around. I was that way a year ago. You were that way. I think all of us collectively could not have pictured that disaster. But even knowing that, even telling yourself that, looking at the schedule when it came out, I went, man, it's hard. Well, you and I had this conversation.
It's not like Louisville has the senior-laden team and NC State does this here in Boston College. They're all shedding kids.
Well, they're all losing really key members of their team in situation, and the situations played out where, look, we beat Boston College last year, and they had everybody. We beat Louisville last year, and they weren't with a new coaching staff.
Right, but they're not on the rise, Pat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're continuing to be where they are. Boston College offensive line gets gutted. Finley's gone at NC State. And it's here. You're playing it here. That's always mattered.
And we lit their defense up last year.
As annoying as that has been, it's always mattered where that game's been played, the last 20 years.
Sure.
And so it being here matters greatly.
Yeah, and you don't open with Virginia Tech, and you're not on the road against Notre Dame, and you're not on the road against Miami, and you're not,
As sad as that sounds. You get Syracuse here, and that matters.
It does sound sad, but it does. It's really hard, and I'm going to have to check myself the entirety of from now until that first game. When I just glance at that schedule, I go, how the hell are you not winning 9 games with that? But the answer is if your offensive line's in disarray again. That's the answer. That ends all hope if that's still a disaster. But it can't be. I refuse to believe it can be that bad again. I do.
Well, it's not healthy to do so in January anyway.
See, you're right. It was historically bad. Final hour, fourth company. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
2019 Super Bowl. It was a controversial missed pass interference call, along with a helmet-to-helmet no call that led to billboards around New Orleans declaring that the Saints got robbed. Attorney Frank D'Amico is calling for the game to be played again.
Put 1 minute and 49 seconds back on the clock and play out the game 20-all.
D'Amico says the missed pass interference call against the Rams, along with the overtime loss, caused season ticket holders mental anguish and emotional trauma. A hearing on D'Amico's lawsuit against NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell is set for Monday in Civil District Court. And that is a Bloomberg Business of Sports report. I'm Michael Barr.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Yo, where the hell are you? Dude, I'm here, sitting at the bar. Where are you? The hell you are? I've been here for 30 minutes. Erroneous. BS. I've been sitting at this bar for 3 hours drinking pecan whiskey. We said Pensacola, dude. Why would we meet there? We're old men, and that's for the kids. Hashtag Northsiders. Did you just hashtag me? Hashtag hell yes. See you in 30. Get the mahi and a beer.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Hurry in for the Ace 20% off bag sale. Ace Rewards members get 20% off almost anything that fits inside the bag. Not an Ace Rewards member? Sign up is free and easy. Find great deals throughout the store on great brands like Craftsman and Valspar Paint. Plus, stock up and save on everything you need to take care of your home. Don't miss the 20% off bag sale this Saturday and Sunday, only at Ace. Offer valid at participating stores only. Additional conditions and exclusions apply. See store for details.
Come watch handmade cigars rolled right before your eyes at Jerry's Cigar Shop. On January 25th, master cigar roller Azarias Mustafa Cordoba is rolling your cigars. Jerry's has great deals like buy 3, get 1 free and buy 5, get 2 free. Incredible discounts and free cigars. Plus great food, groovin' music, and cold beer. Don't miss this great event, January 25th from 6 to 10 p.m. only at Jerry's Cigar Shop on Cary Forest Parkway, Tallahassee's #1 destination for cigars.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Pacers guard Victor Oladipo has a ruptured tendon in his right quad. He will miss the rest of the season. Oladipo got hurt in the second quarter last night against the Raptors. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
The best player on the team that none of us ever talk about in the Eastern Conference. They're only 3 games out of first place, and it looks like a long rehab ahead for Victor Oladipo.
LeBron James will be out again tonight when the Lakers play the Timberwolves. This will be the 15th game James has missed with a left groin strain. Point guard Rajon Rondo, a game-time decision, trying to come back from finger surgery. U.S. Open champ Naomi Osaka will play for the Australian Open title Saturday against 2-time Wimbledon champ Petra Kvitova. The winner of the match will also take over the #1 world ranking. More live tennis from Melbourne at 3:30 a.m. Eastern with the men's semifinal between top seed Novak Djokovic and Lucas Pouille. The winner gets Rafael Nadal in the final. While they're preparing for the Super Bowl, the Rams sign a settlement that could pay up to $24 million in compensation to their old fans in St. Louis.
Brought to you by Discover. Get your free credit scorecard today. Even if you're not a Discover customer, it includes your FICO credit score, and checking your scorecard won't hurt your credit. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. Hope you're well. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. If you do miss something, you're okay, though. We got you covered. All 3 hours going to be posted both to iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can also find it on the WTSM app, which is free for all your mobile devices. So get caught up, man. Email us if you want, jcs at 979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at jcameronshow. Also the station at 979 ESPN Radio. If you want to Periscope, we're back Periscoping. We're back YouTubing. Hello, YouTubers. Good to see you again. On YouTube, just type in Jeff Cameron Show. Finally got the detail. You all right?
Yeah, there's that new logo in the top corner of the screen now.
Our friends at Garnet and Gold, welcome aboard. Good to have you back. You can't run from us for too long. You got to come back. Too much loving. Good loving.
Just as those colors are in our blood, so
right.
too is the store in the Jeff Cameron Show's blood.
It goes way back. They've been with us off and on for many, 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 many years, and it's always good when they're with us. So.
The first commercial, not PSA or promo, but the first commercial I ever wrote 10 years ago.
Was Garnet and Gold?
Was for Garnet and Gold, and it was for your voice. That's right.
Well, Tom, you've always written my voice very well, sir.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
yeah.
Just wait to hear this monologue. It's a late-night joke.
Yeah. So 1 month after, writes Corey Clark, speaking of writing, warchant.com's Corey Clark noting Kendall Briles' contract that came out yesterday. Didn't talk about it yesterday. $1 million per year on a 3-year deal. And if he leaves before the end of the 2020 season, he'll owe FSU $500,000 unless he leaves for a head coaching job or an NFL job. So he doesn't owe the university anything if it's one of those two scenarios. So Florida State protecting themselves pretty well there. And then to note, there's a $900,000 buyout Florida State had to make to get him from Houston. And in addition to that, you get some perks here. You only get $650 a month for a vehicle allowance. I got to tell you, Kendall, that will not get you in my current Infiniti QX80. You can borrow some money if you'd like, and I can get you in a QX80. Unless you're going to put something down. And I don't know, maybe he comes with something here.
I mean, I'm sure he does.
He can maybe put something down and get those payments there. But, you're going to want to do that. So, Kendall, if you want to drive my QX80 from Infiniti, swing on by the station, maybe do a long 1-hour interview. And in exchange, I'll let you drive it for a day or so.
Yeah, we'll get to figure out what really happened back in those days.
Yeah, we'll do all that stuff.
Transparency, right?
Yeah. He gets 5 tickets to home games. Well, I would hope he'll be coaching.
What, not 6?
Yeah, I know. 2 tickets to home baseball games. That's nice. And basketball games as well. And a $20,000 moving stipend. I'd like a $20,000 moving stipend, right? $20,000? How much does it cost? So you've had somebody very close to you have to make moves.
Yeah.
Not from mansion to mansion, but just moves.
No, moves.
$20,000 seems more than...
That'll cover it.
You think?
That'll cover it and then some.
I think you could, maybe he'll apply that to the QX80. Maybe he'll say, well, thanks for the $20,000 moving expense. Here's $10,000 on the QX80. Maybe now I can afford the luxury.
Yeah, let me move some other things in.
Man.
Some brand new things.
That was the only thing about the contract that really caught my eye. It's like $20,000 to move.
But, I mean, you're not moving a mansion, so that's the other thing,
I mean, sweet Jesus, you got too much stuff.
Well, you're moving 4 and 5 rooms from Texas to here. I mean, what is that from Houston? It's an 8-9 hour freight? I don't know.
That's a lot, man. That blew me away. $20,000. Man, what do you think the company would give us if we were moving but still working for them here?
What do you mean?
I'm not going to make you say it. Of course not. That's just insane. Hey, listen, at the end of the day, and we were debating this.
Give us $50 to Ruby Tuesdays and say have some dinner after.
I was going to. Why'd you go with Ruby Tuesdays? That's weird because we don't have a relationship with them.
That's why. It just sounds
It's just
random.
random.
And they're everywhere. They're everywhere. So it's not like specific to this town. If I wanted a local business.
Speaking of which, do Ponderosas still exist?
That's a good question. I'll look it up.
Look it up.
Franchise. I want a franchise upon. That's how you look it up, and they'll be all too happy to tell you where.
Yeah. I'm really curious. Back in my youth, there was a Ponderosa on every corner in St. Petersburg, but I don't know if they still exist.
Good breadsticks. Kissimmee.
Of course, Kissimmee's got a Ponderosa.
And I think there's two of them in Kissimmee, according to
there's
our pal
two?
Google. Yes.
The people of Kissimmee are like, no, build another one. This Ponderosa's too good to be true.
Those appear to be the only ones in the state of Florida.
We need to have two of these bad boys in Kissimmee.
Yeah, it says there's one in Bannerman Crossing, but that's closed.
It hasn't been there in 50 years. What
Still
are they
listed? I don't know. Looks like Indiana, Minnesota, Tennessee, Louisville. That sounds right. Missouri. And, yeah, so the Midwest essentially is where they are these days.
7 Ponderosas in the world? Is that what you're telling me here?
About 15.
Okay. They're hanging on. It's like my hair. These 4 or 5 guys up front that are like, no, we're with you, Cameron. We're never going to leave. I'm like, it's okay, guys. I shaved it all off. I gave up the fight. No, we're still here for you if you want to grow it out.
Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota, Ohio. Yeah, so they're mostly a Midwestern chain.
Bottom line is, Briles' contract, we now know it. It's what was speculated by and large. And you know what? Between that and the Ron Dugan's hire, Willie Taggart has upgraded his coaching staff considerably. Maybe not timely, but considerably. And that has been something we were eager to see, and it has happened. And, I gave Ira credit for writing the article, but laying it out there. And now if you are able to get – by the way, I also think, and we'll talk about this, but we're not done – with the quarterback situation. Again, I want to get into something here in a moment about transfers and the transfer portal and how it's affecting college football. And we've been speculating about this for some time. Obviously, James Blackman is staying. And in the interim, we have DeAndre Francois here, who I don't think will be here in the fall. But nonetheless, and the Travis kid came. But now you keep hearing names all over the place about people finishing up and then transferring in the fall. I don't know how conducive that is to somebody coming in and playing right away. But being part of the competition certainly couldn't help, but couldn't hurt. But also down the line, if you get a guy with multiple years, that becomes very, very enticing. So I got to imagine that we're still entertaining potential candidates for grad transfers at quarterback.
I don't know that it's ever over.
Not anymore.
The typical grad transfer market before this day and age of the portal, you didn't know until after spring a lot of the time. I mean, sometimes guys would be ready to graduate in the fall, but think about when we had the purge of Clint Trickett and Coker. Well, Clint practiced through the spring, didn't he? Before he left, I believe he did.
Yeah.
So, the typical market can be lagging behind a little bit. Just think about, the offensive tackles that we're courting as grad transfers. Not the transfer portal, but the true grad transfers, not JUCOs either. There are visits set up for one of them either in February or March. I mean, all these things. You're going to have guys that continue on perhaps into the summer when you're talking about certain transfers. So, yeah, I think the quarterback position, just moving forward in general for any program, you're going to have between January and, say, August.
By the way, on this note, I wanted to get to it because I forgot to do it last hour. Jeff writes to us, at Jay Cameron Show, @_Tom Lang. Where do you guys see the insane prediction about Willie Taggart? There's a fan-sided article today. A lot of you have sent me. It's it's fan-sided, so whatever. It's fan-sided. But when you read it, it has 15 football predictions for the upcoming year, and included in there are some that you would all agree with and some that you won't. This was specific to FSU, and in essence, for example, they have in here with some of the other stuff that Justin Herbert's draft stock is going to plummet, that he's not what we all thought he was, that Alabama's going to lose a couple of games this year. Well, everybody can see that Jalen, it's a possibility, right? That Jalen Hurts won't win the job, that UCF is going to lose a couple of games this upcoming season. Well, of course, at some point they're bound to do that, right? And so it has all these different predictions that ETN will win the Heisman, over Trevor Lawrence. That Clemson's got to, so that annoys the hell out of you as a Florida State guy. You're thinking at some point, are we going to be done hearing about Clemson? What's worse is that in that same prediction mode from FanSided, they have Texas A&M winning the SEC. But what caught everybody's attention was Florida State will fire Willie Taggart. No first-year football coach endured a more difficult season than Willie Taggart did at Florida State. Well, that's not true. I would look out at UCLA and say, my goodness gracious, nothing good happened there for Kelly. Nothing. No, they look terrible, and they don't look to be any better anytime soon, and their recruiting class is horrible. They got no chance. He was an unmitigated disaster at UCLA, but it speaks to what Florida State is and what UCLA is. I would also note that even though Scott Frost better prepared his people for it, and there was some upside towards the end of the season, Nebraska wasn't any good. Wasn't like it was a bed of roses in year one out there in Nebraska and Lincoln for Scott Frost. But, of course, Willie Taggart in the crosshairs here. And what they wrote here, the substance of this is Florida State has to get off to a great start, and that would mean they need to win 4 of their first 5 games. The Noles open against Boise State and Jacksonville before playing ULM. Then a dangerous trip to Virginia will provide Taggart's team a big test. That's quickly followed by a home game against Louisville. After that looms an important game against NC State at Doak Campbell Stadium. In order to keep the Wolves away, he's got to start 4-1 or 5-0. That's not a controversial opinion. I think that's probably kind of close to true. I mean, I think you could lose a game, I suppose, if you played well on the road at Virginia and lost on a last-second field goal, and you'd taken care of business against Boise State, and, if you win that NC State game at home and all that other stuff, you could say, all right, well, if he's 5-1 and he's got one close loss on the road to Virginia in a good game, I mean, nobody's going to be freaked out by that. But, yeah, there's no getting around that Willie Taggart has to have a good year, and that would mean getting off to a good start. The part about firing him is a bit insane. He would have to have a losing season.
I once penned an article or two for FanSided. It was the Bucks site years ago. I was bored.
Come to the defense here, then.
Yeah. The article said if Cody Grimm's a starter for you, you're not a competitive NFL team.
But that was accurate.
Yes, it was. Yes. That was just the angry fan of me writing for a little while.
What they wrote was it's possible he won't survive regular season 2. I suppose it's possible. I think it's really a reach because I think they're going to accidentally win 8 games next year.
Certainly hope so. I mean, you'd have to be. You'd have to start redefining things about ineptitude if you lost 6 games next year.
Well, I know you've been catching up on sleep, and so you probably didn't hear it. But I said it to both the boys on some of the headlines. If he goes 7-5 or 6-6 next year, he will have lost the entire fan base. There's no doubt with that schedule. There's no questioning that he will, and now he'll be back. But
what schedule would you win 9 or 10 games with?
Tens of thousands of customers choose Andro 400 every month. It melts away stubborn belly fat, helps you easily lose excess pounds, increases your energy and stamina, improves your libido, and improves your mood naturally and safely. You can afford it as well, and they offer a 90-day money-back guarantee. Here you go. Here's how you get it. Call 888-510-9336, or even easier, go to andro400.com. I give to you easy laundry service from my friends at Wash Around the Clock. Oh, buddy, this is a game changer. If you're like me, your life is hectic. Between work, school, your kids' sporting events and activities, well, it leaves you precious little time to kick back and take a load off. About the last thing you want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right. More watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with easy laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's easy laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Hi, this is Gene Deckeroff for Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. 2019 is here, and we've got to get rid of all the remaining 2018s. And the only way to do that is to offer employee pricing on over 50 Jeep Wranglers in stock. We've never been able to offer such unbelievable prices on Jeep Wranglers, and with over 50 in stock, they all must go. Buy one for as low as $29,900 or save up to $5,600 on in-stock vehicles. The all-new 2019 Ram 1500 is Motor Trend Truck of the Year, and it's breaking all kinds of records. We have over 80 Ram 1500s in stock with up to $11,000 off MSRP. You can't go wrong. Motor Trend Truck of the Year and up to $11,000 off MSRP. It's the deal of the year. There's only one place to go. Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle. We're right on the corner and always right on the price. Or visit us on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. Dealer retains all rebates and incentives plus tax, tag, and dealer fee.
Hey Tallahassee, this is Danny Aller
and Matthew Crumbaker.
Join us for the Saturday morning bottle share every Saturday at 9:30 a.m. right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee Sports Monster.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Tallahassee, thank you for another great year. Tallahassee truly is a Nissan town. Because of that, Nissan has come out swinging in 2019 with January savings like we've never seen before. With up to $5,000 off of 2019 Maximas, Muranos, and Pathfinders. Up to $10,000 off of 2019 Armadas and Titans. You want to save even more? We have a few remaining of most 2018 models that will save you up to an additional $2,500. But wait, it gets better. With our Nissan Zero and Savings event, Kraft Nissan has 0% interest on 14 models, plus 0 down and 0 payments until after April tax day. And our hottest models, the all-new 2019 Altima and the 2019 Rogue, starting at just $21,900. And the all-new Nissan Kick starts at only $18,800 with available 1.9 interest for 60 months. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much. Way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Prices include dealer preparation charge, interest rates with approved credit.
It's Golick and Wingo.
Our measure of where Kyrie goes as a leader from here will just be hearing less from him.
Well, maybe that's the point. And a lot of stuff came his way pretty easy, pretty fast. And sometimes you don't realize all the stuff that goes around to making all those things happen by other people for you. But it's still sort of a self-reflective moment that I'm okay with. I think it's a good sign for Kyrie. Now, if we could just get him to definitively declare that the world is round.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. You know, we theorized that it would get to a place where it'd get very interesting in a hurry. And as it turned out, of course, James Blackman was not in the transfer portal. You got the strength to do the portal effects, Tom? Okay, that's all. You just make it a brief one. Just make it a brief. I know you're fighting illness again today. You're fighting through it. I can't make you go extended portal, but we can't ignore the portal sound effects altogether. So Blackman was never in the portal, and, of course, that reflected poorly at the time on Willie Taggart, and that created a discussion. But you want to talk about that being tame. As it turned out, A, he's not in the portal, never was, and B, it's tame compared to what's going on in a lot of college football places, programs around the country, in particular Virginia Tech. And when we were having that discussion, it blossomed into a further discussion, a bigger discussion about the new norm the new reality of college football where players are emboldened and have the wherewithal and now the ability to just up and say, I'm out. I don't like the situation. I don't feel good about the season that we just had. I don't like the way I was used. And I'm going to leave, especially if they're in good standing academically. But as pointed out by David Teal today, for example, he talked about what's going on with Justin Fuente's program. Let's take this back even further. I'm going to marry a few things here, but let's go all the way back, Tom, to when I was up in Charlotte, and you thought that Fuente sounded like a desperate man. The audio we had of him where he talked about their offseason and the challenges facing them in the upcoming season, would not have been something to portend of them coming in here and waxing our ass. B, it would have portend of the season they had, which was their first losing in an awful long time. They went 6-7, and by losing the bowl game to Cincinnati. So it was a season of disarray and disappointment. Worst Bud Foster defense he's had in 8 eons. Some of that was due to injury. Some of that was due to just poor play. And some of that appears to do with guys ready to take it on down the road, to leave. You had discipline problems in the offseason. You had a shattered locker room is what it appears. And he said, quote, after their game in the Military Bowl to Cincinnati, if we go through another 365 days of what we went through in the last 365 days, it's going to be very, very difficult. We're going to have to find ways to move forward as a program and do things much better. And now we see, obviously, with the athletes in major college football and men's basketball transferring annually and losing more than 10% of your scholarship complement is unusual, even with all of this transferring. To have this happen to them, they've lost 9 scholarship players. The max is 85, so you lose 9. I mean, my goodness gracious. They've announced their intentions to transfer, and that included 6 of the 9 that were recruited by Beamer. So some of that is mitigated. You would say, well, these were Beamer guys. Hasn't worked out, but you can't blame Fuente. Those weren't even his guys to some extent, right? But now you add the disciplinary stuff to that along with the transfers, and it's an ugly optic, and it's the kind of thing that leaves Hokie fans saying, what's going on around here? They also had a coach get in trouble, their co-defensive coordinator, Galen Scott, who had to resign after that messy public affair that he had, and that became public. So, anyhow, they lose their quarterback in Jackson. They lose their top receiver in Eric Kuma. They lose their running back, Deshaun McLeese, and that's a local kid, and so everybody was stunned by that. Well, why do I bring that up? Okay, well, again, I think this is speaking to a new norm and what's going to happen in big-time college football. Check out this stat. Of these 65 Power 5 programs, 27 have lost or added a quarterback thanks to the NCAA transfer. That's almost half the Power 5 programs have been either hit or affected by, in some capacity, the transfer portal. And this is really the first year of all of that, right? Virginia Tech is the latest school to see one of its quarterbacks affected by that, as Josh Jackson is gone. Jalen Hurts, of course, left Alabama for Oklahoma. Tate Martell went from Ohio State to Miami, which got everybody talking about where these guys were going to go. By the way, with Jackson leaving, now we're all, as Noel fans, thinking, because he's got extra years. He has breezed through school. The thought is that after spring, he's done, and he's got 2 years, and he could even ask and apply for a medical hardship. You could legitimately get 3 years out of Jackson. That makes him a desirable commodity.
Yeah, the multiple years thing, and the fact that if you just look at his track record, he doesn't turn the ball over all that much. He's not exactly a runner, but he can run. And, think about the scouting report we had on him last year. If you get the good Jackson, then he can make some spectacular throws.
Makes plays.
He can be average, but he doesn't typically kill you when he's out on the field, too.
Well, and I neglected to note that we got Jordan Travis from Louisville. So we've been affected by it already, and never mind the fears that were temporarily there that James Blackman was going to leave.
If DeAndre does, we get, tacked on another one.
Yeah. Brandon Windbush left Notre Dame and is now at UCF.
Justin Fields left Georgia.
That's right, and we're going to go on and on here.
Kelly Bryant left Clemson.
I believe this is going to pretty much be the norm moving forward, and of course you get these transfers have a ripple effect, and kind of penciling in because you certainly can't do it in Penn, what a team's going to be in 2 years based on certain recruiting rankings and based on, I mean, here we are this close, a big recruiting weekend, right? And we're all talking about the effects of recruiting, the need to do better there, the need to, obviously, this is the lifeblood of any program. But now you cannot project that, hey, 2 years from now, based on this class, we're going to be this, this, and this. I mean, who knows how many of those kids remain?
Right. There's a notion in the MLB that the guys you end up calling up from the minors,
over 60% were drafted by somebody else.
Right. And I guess that you could say that that's a fact as the camera turns the other way for me. It's the third time
it's
today.
the third time today.
Yes, indeed.
You're beating that sucker senseless.
I am beating that sucker, but this is a radio program primarily, so I'll power through that.
Yeah.
But I wonder how much college football is going to turn into something like that, where maybe the stat is something between 3 or 4 of your starters every year will be from another school. You know, if you could foresee that down the line. Virginia Tech is a special case, though, because of all of the problems they've had. I mean, you marry discipline with transfers, with scandal, with a lack of culture, and it's that statement that Fuente made in Charlotte, which is people aren't buying in. I mean, that was these are your recruits, man. These are the guys that you brought in as Hokies. Like, they're part of the program culture that you want to build, and they're not buying into your vision. The hell's wrong with you?
It was a weird thing to admit to, first of all, at the ACC kickoff, to say to a, if you will, foreign journalist, right? I'm not even
outside
local.
The circle and on the record.
Right. You know, I'm outside the circle. I don't cover him on a regular basis. I've spoken to him twice, but he felt fine about opening up about the lack of buy-in and his frustration, some of the discipline issues he addressed. You know, I find it fascinating. I do think coaches are in for a much tougher task these days. This is where, and it's a buzzword, and you get tired of hearing about it because it continues to beat you over the head. And, you know, there are popular slogans that make their way around the business world for a time. And, you know, forever and a day, you'd hear, think outside the box. You'd be like, if I hear one more person say think outside the box, right? But then the next one comes down the pike, and you hear that a million times over. And then you hear whatever the next one might be, right? Culture. Right now, you hear the word culture, building a culture, creating a culture, having the kind of culture that can withstand certain controversies and or on the field or off the field, injuries, whatever it might be, right? They got it at New England in the NFL, clearly in a way that nobody else does. They're setting records, right? Clemson has that right now. Everybody wants to stay at Clemson, even when it doesn't appear to be financially or business savvy, right? They stay at Clemson, and they cite that they don't want to leave because they love it there. They love their teammates, the culture of Clemson, the fan base, the whole deal.
That's the thing to me that separates Clemson is kids want to stay there. That's unique to college football. You know, the pros would be taking a salary cut just to stick around,
just to stick around
and make it work in a certain location. But like Alabama's culture is producing kids to the NFL. You know, obviously there are championships along the way, but they're like a pipeline. Whereas Clemson, the unique thing about them is you had all these kids come back. That speaks to a workplace joy that is hard to find in a place where you're not getting paid like you would at the pro level.
Well, and Brent, allegedly.
Well, sure.
It was a joke, but
well, even still, that'd be like, you know, a 7th-round pick practice squad.
Yeah, it's no money.
Cut
right,
versus a first-round pick.
But look, for example, though, that extends even further to your coaching staff. Brent Venables is on everybody's head coaching list, and everybody knows not to step to him because he's staying, partly because his kids are there now, and he loves it, and he's paid handsomely, but not as much as he'd be paid if he were a head coach somewhere, and most assuredly he's a head coaching candidate. But people don't even bother. They're like, oh, he's happy at Clemson. His kid's there now, too. He's not leaving. Don't even call him.
Meanwhile,
that's crazy.
Alabama can't keep a coordinator for more than 2 years at most. Most.
And it's a good thing that, you know, he recruits at the level that he does because so what? By talent alone, they'll get to that championship round. They'll get to the playoffs, even as they lose coaching continuity. Although I will say I am beginning to venture down the path of might we be beginning to see the cracks in the armor developing. This has got to be getting very old for Nick Saban. It's very difficult, and we all know coaching continuity matters. It has an impact on your program, a great impact on your program, and the longer you are able to sustain that continuity, the better off you are. You withstand the upheaval of a poor season or a season in where you have a substantial amount of injury or you have an off-the-field problem, whatever it might be. That continuity as a program, you know, you've created a culture, helps get you through the tough times. I wonder now if what you're seeing here, look, they lose that game going away to Clemson. no matter what you say about Nick Saban, the truth of the matter is he does not get blown out. He never gets blown out. He got blown the hell out. And you could say, well, you know, they ran the ball. They got blown the hell out. That never happens. Statistically speaking, it just doesn't.
Flukish or not, right. However you want to argue it.
It never does. It never happens. And so you see that happen. And there have been some other moments where you're like, okay, they're not as far removed from the rest of the college football world as maybe we thought they were. They're still –
Or they used to be.
And they're still, you know, a creme de la creme, if you will. But Clemson has found equal footing. So you wonder now how soon others do as well. It's a matter of recruiting, but also creating that culture. I guess at the end of the day, to bring it back home to here, and it's paramount that will he be successful in creating this culture that people don't want to leave and that people are happy to not only stick around, but they don't consider transferring because the ability to do so now has never been easier. Obviously, the rate in which it's happening is eye-popping for schools in the Power 5 at the very least, but it's happening everywhere. You're seeing, I mean, for example, USF lost a kid to Samford on a transfer. I mean, I just read that in the Tampa Bay Times. So there's a lot of this going on lower levels too. Kids are empowered. That's a great thing. Student athletes making decisions that now they can make that they couldn't in the past. We're fine with that. But your new reality is not only do you have to win football games and you have to satiate the appetite for success from your alumni and the donors and everything else, but you got to be damn sure these kids aren't looking over the shoulder left and right when they lose out. And I don't know how you do that, by the way, because this is going to be all very, very new for these coaches. If you're a frontline guy, which presumably if you're being recruited by a Florida State, you are 4- and 5-star caliber elite level player at most positions, and you commit to a place and it's easier than ever to leave that place, you do worry that you get there and you compete and you lose the job and you just say, I'm out. I mean, I don't want to be that guy that throws the blanket over all kids of today and says, well, they can't handle competition. They lose. The first thing they want to do is transfer. I hear that all the time. But I do think we're going to start to see a little bit more of that, and that's going to get old.
Well, I think more kids back in the day would have done so if they had this kind of recourse. The thing to me that I would look for the NCAA to do, because the topic of du jour, what was it, 3-4 years ago, was 4-year guaranteed scholarships, and some schools have renewable 1-year deals. Mm-hmm. And the talk was, all kids at certain levels should be guaranteed a 4-year degree, like a path to a degree. If they commit to you over all these other suitors, they should be guaranteed that term. Maybe the NCAA on signing day could allow for a 2-year deal or a 4-year deal. I mean, that sounds a lot like a professional contract, but in some cases...
Yeah, well, we're pretty much removing the veneer anymore. I mean, we were really getting...
But, I mean, could there be levels to a commitment to a scholarship that take away the ability to transfer? So it's a 2-year minimum that you have to stay at the university. You can't leave after the first year unless it's about a family hardship or something along those lines. Performance-based transfers. I just wonder, I feel like this is almost like replay. You're just kind of pulling at the string, and now we've got a bigger mess on our hands because you're going to have to try and counterbalance this to answer for as many kids as may be transferring over the next 2 or 3 years. I would think more are going to explore these first couple of years before you have a check and balance to get this thing evened out.
The NCAA must cringe as this is referred to on a regular basis now in national article after national article as college football's free agency. That's basically what you have. And at this point now, the quarterback carousel, it's affected a quarter of all schools, half of the major ones. We're coming up on February.
Right.
This is pretty incredible, right?
Well, yeah, the attrition used to be transfers, which happened at sometimes, not nearly as much. Graduate transfers, graduation, NFL draft if they left early, or medical DQs. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was it. But of those 5, transfers were a very small portion. And usually those were kids who, they weren't going to play, but they were kind of volunteered for. Kind of like with medical hardships.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to put it.
It's the same thing, but now it's completely changed the equation of how your offseason goes and player retention. I mean, you're going to have like a retention director hired within the sports staff to counsel these guys, make sure they feel loved.
Is everything okay?
Well,
you guys happy?
But that's the thing. It's like there's a good line. You ever see the Ernie Davis movie?
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid plays the coach.
Yeah.
And his teammate first practices, I'll bet you wonder where that nice guy who was in your living room and your dining room went, because the coach turns
because now he's
jerk.
coach. Yeah,
now he's got you. I don't know, man.
Not anymore.
For hardline coaches, I think the job gets all the harder.
Oh, much more difficult. Yeah, no, it's got to be about an overriding culture that you get kids to invest in and believe in and understand before they ever step foot on campus. They can't be surprised. They got to know to the extent that you can let them know. I mean, college is a new experience for everybody, but still, I mean, they got to know, okay, well, he's a hardliner. I know what I'm getting into, but you can't be Jekyll and Hyde anymore. You're right, because you risk that somebody, is recoiled and decides
They've
to
got
walk
to feel
away.
the love now when they get on campus, too,
Oh, you want to talk about prima donna. That's going to be fun for, wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, you name it. I feel like linemen are going to stay. They'll be all right. It's okay.
They've got a good accounting program.
We're okay.
I'm going to be a CPA.
Absolutely. MyPillow.com, still with the 4-pack special. It is fantastic. You get 4 of these bad boys, 2 MyPillows, 2 Go Anywhere pillows. The shipping is still free. The night's sleep you get, outstanding. I can attest to that. Now, in addition, the money-back guarantee got extended all the way through March. So you're good to go. It's the 4-pack special. Just make sure you use my promo code 979ESPN. That's MyPillow.com, promo code 979ESPN. You can wash them. You can dry them. Your money-back guarantee is extended. Also, I'll tell you, they're very comfortable. I sleep on mine every night. My wife sleeps on hers. We both like it. Free shipping to boot. They make it very easy for you. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code 979ESPN.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, listen to Dave.
Andro 400, I really love it. I've lost 50 pounds. I was a size 38 waist. I've gone down to a 32 waist. My mood has changed. I don't get stressed out. It gave me so much more energy. It feels like I'm 25. I'm so happy. I'm just a completely different man.
Andro 400 Max, an extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Go to andro400.com or call 888-510-9336. That's 888-510-9336.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he wants it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube. Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This Day in Sports History.
January 24th, 1962. Jackie Robinson was joined by Bob Feller as he became the first African-American baseball player elected into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. Of course, Jackie Robinson is most known for breaking baseball's color barrier, but he also won Rookie of the Year and an MVP award in his career.
Want better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Change your oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. You know that sticker on your windshield? Don't look at it now. Wait until the next red light. Okay, check the number on your sticker. Then check your odometer. Is it time? There are 19 Tallahassee area Superlube locations, which means there's one close to you right now. No appointments, and you're in and out in no time. You could do this today. Superlube, for better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine.
How I love to Superlube my car. Yes, sir.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Pacers guard Victor Oladipo has a ruptured tendon in his right quad. He will miss the rest of the season. Oladipo got hurt in the second quarter last night against the Raptors. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
The best player on the team that none of us ever talk about in the Eastern Conference. They're only 3 games out of first place, and it looks like a long rehab ahead for Victor Oladipo.
LeBron James will be out again tonight when the Lakers play the Timberwolves. This will be the 15th game James has missed with a left groin strain. Point guard Rajon Rondo, a game-time decision, trying to come back from finger surgery. U.S. Open champ Naomi Osaka will play for the Australian Open title Saturday against two-time Wimbledon champ Petra Kvitova. The winner of the match will also take over the #1 world ranking. More live tennis from Melbourne at 3:30 a.m. Eastern with the men's semifinal between top seed Novak Djokovic and Lucas Pouille. The winner gets Rafael Nadal in the final. While they're preparing for the Super Bowl, the Rams sign a settlement that could pay up to $24 million in compensation to their old fans in St. Louis.
Brought to you by Discover. Get your free credit scorecard today. Even if you're not a Discover customer, it includes your FICO credit score, and checking your scorecard won't hurt your credit. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Get the goodness of the soccer guys comes up next. I'll be listening in on my way home. Good stuff. Those guys always entertaining and interesting, insightful, knowledgeable, quality programming right here on 97.9 ESPN. Hey, no live sports tonight, but we got you covered for the weekend. This week, to me, it was a long weekend, obviously, with Martin Luther King Day on Monday, so we had an extra day off, but I feel like the week's kind of blown by. You may not feel that way.
Well, I mean, from a work standpoint, hello, goodbye. No, it's been a week.
Let me tell you why I was excited about all that. It's because and I haven't checked today while we've been on the air. It's been hard to do that, but it's because I want to race home and watch it. I'm all in on the golf, and this is the Farmers is a good tournament. I mean, it's beautiful, and Tiger Woods is back, and I watched his press conference, and I used some of his quotes last night, the audio, on the show Beyond the Tips with Trey Jones from Florida State. That guy's never been more centered than he is right now, man. And he loves Torrey Pines, but I just find it fascinating to listen to him talk about getting stronger but then taking days off and noting, he was talking about, I've learned my body. There were days that I could push it and get stronger, but then other days that I woke up and I realized I just don't need to be doing anything today. And that's new for me, and I know now because I played 7 tournaments in 7 of the last 9 tournaments. And he goes, there's no doubt by the end I was exhausted. I could feel I didn't have the legs. He was like, I was relieved to win, got that done. I didn't have anything left. Not making excuses, but I knew if I were going to play in a way that would allow me to win and be ready for the majors and do all the things that I've done in the past, I've got to get in better shape. But I didn't have time to do that. This offseason, I've had time to do that. The other thing he doesn't say, though, and this will be very interesting to see because we're all now going to presume that he takes the next step and maybe gets another major or wins a couple of events this year, if not more. He had to play those events. He didn't have status in some of these events. He had to keep playing in order to qualify for some of the events. So it wasn't a choice. I mean, that's why he's down in Tampa playing in an event he never plays in. That's why he was saying yes to tournaments. How many times last year were we sitting there going, well, he hasn't played in that tournament in 9 years, but he played in that tournament, and then he played Tampa, and then he played, because without the points, he didn't qualify to move on in the FedEx Cup.
It's a big problem for Tampa, too, for Valspar because it got moved to the weekend after the Players. the pecking order. It got
so
moved by the players.
to have that happen.
So you're between the players and Augusta.
You're screwed.
And then there's the match play the week before, and the match play gets hurt by that too a little bit. But they've always gone through that particular process. But now you're going to have a lot of golfers picking between staying in Florida and playing over at Innisbrook, or going out and playing in the match play the week before the Masters. So I don't know how many people are going to pick Valspar.
Didn't you go last year?
I went. I was there for the seminal moment on Saturday when he realized he could be the player. Yeah, it was right around the turn.
Yeah,
and I watched both of those things. I didn't actually see the chip, and I was walking away because I watched him hit out. I think it was the left-hand rough or the bunker, whatever. He puts it behind the green. It's just on the edge, and that's where he chips in from. But I'm walking back to the green to watch his. It's a really short par 4 coming up the other way, and the crowd goes crazy. And you're just like, oh, my God, he made it, didn't he? He turned around, and he's going nuts. And it was just an unbelievable atmosphere. So he makes birdie on the next hole, and he walks off of that hole to the tee at 11. I'm pretty sure I got the holes right, but, bear with me. And when he walks through, you can see it. We have the video of it. Jamie took the video of it.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. That's correct, yeah.
The look on his face of like, oh, my God, all right. You could tell the adrenaline was really going, and he seemed to be happy more than – in killer mode. But it was like an appreciation for it. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget that day because it was that the whole grounds, you had to get at least 3-4 holes ahead of Tiger in order to have any kind of viewpoint whatsoever, because the wave, I mean, it was like the equivalent of a 30-foot tidal wave of people. You had no chance unless you got somewhere a half an hour, 40 minutes before he got there.
Well, think about this, and he talked about it on Tuesday. He was asked, and I think it's going to be fun to watch. He was asked about the crowd reaction to what happened at the Tour Championship when he won, and he made that final putt on Sunday. And that crowd that followed him, I mean, he tapped in. Obviously, it was a massive eruption. The crowd followed him down the fairway when it was apparent that he was going to win. He finished the tournament at 11 under par. And, you had this – it was incredible. It gave you chills. I mean, there were people crying. It was bizarre to see that, right? And he was fighting tears, and he admitted that. But he was asked this week about that. Like, how about your season culminating in that? And what did that mean? And he said, I'll never be able to put in words what that meant. I felt the fans sort of redlining. They were overcome with emotion, and I could feel that behind me. He goes, now, at St. Andrews I felt that. I felt it a couple other places where they let him come out like that. But this was different. This was different than anything I had ever experienced, and I was trying to keep my own emotions intact.
Also, your safety, because people were,
they're running up on you,
brushing up against you and stuff. Yeah,
yeah. And so he was just trying to stay calm, cool, collected. There was the matter of taking care of business. I mean, you couldn't be up there 3-putting. He still had to do some things to win the tournament. And so he was talking about that, but then he said, while he was talking about it, and I think this is important because it's going to inform the way we watch him pretty much the rest of his career. The humble Tiger from last year, along with the guy that did begin to believe he could be great again, even in this era where kids hit it 100 miles past him and all that other stuff, was a good Tiger. It was a Tiger that let you in. It was a guy that told you about his hopes and fears and didn't give you one-word answers, but opened up to reporters, signed autographs for kids. I know we joke about we want the guy to embrace the black hat, right? But that Tiger was interesting to me, and I also think it was the healthiest he's been mentally in eons. And that's because his kids get to see him win, and he gets to show them what it was like when he was, before they were around, right? What kind of champion he really was. But he said this week, I'll never forget that. And it's inspired me to be better and to want to win more and to give this everything I have. I know it's the back half, the last chapter, and all that. And he just talked about it openly. He said, I played beautifully yesterday in the Pro-Am. Just loved it. I had a good time out there, and the fans were cool. That Tiger is the carryover Tiger from the season. Yeah. I wondered what we would get. He's no longer required to play in some of the events because of the year he had. He doesn't have to play in all these events. He is dictating his schedule very similarly to what he used to do, which is to gear up for the majors, because he's qualified now. He's got the requisite points, and he's in a good place. I wonder, does he play better? Or would it have been better to duplicate the schedule he had a year ago, which was to play and play a lot?
Well, at the expense of the Ryder Cup, unfortunately, last year.
Unfortunately,
schedule,
yeah.
Because
apparently everybody had that problem.
His back looked tighter than a drum when he was out there, though.
It was freezing cold, and he was exhausted, yeah.
I think this will be better for him. The less he's playing, the better. But the interesting thing is, like, everybody is going to embrace this and think about it as though it's impermanent. And by that I mean, like, this could be the last year. He's good for another 5 to 7 years if his body doesn't give out. That's the danger. The danger is his body gives out or his back gives out again, and then that's it. That's all she wrote.
And there's nothing you can do. You can't know that, right? I mean, he says he feels now when his body's telling him to shut it down, and he does, which is a good sign because the Tiger that was written about in Hank Haney's book never did that.
But if he doesn't get hurt, if there's not a catastrophic injury, he's here for another 5 to 7 years. Phil is playing into,
he just shot a 60.
Into dyeing his hair age and spraying on more age. Tiger is significantly younger than Phil, and although he did a lot of damage to his body from overtraining and perhaps substances, I would think his body is in far better condition because he doesn't have the arthritis issue that Phil does. So, if Phil can win the Mexico last year, the WGC Mexico, then who's to say Tiger is not going to be somebody who can win a tournament for the next 5 to 6 years, let alone a major? But like he could compete week in, week out on the PGA Tour for a long time.
Got to win a major this year if he wants any shot, I think, to hunting down Jack. Just history and age tells us that it's unlikely. Because, look, he's at 14.
Well, it's unlikely that anybody wins 5 at any point. Yeah.
Well, right. What I'm talking about, the great champions and the ages they were during their last win. So for Jack, it was 46, right? And there had been a gulf between that. You've seen a few in Vijay Singh, Marco Mira, but not too many people. Then again, it's not really fair to compare Tiger to those guys because Tiger's more in comparison to Jack. But even Jack, it was 46, and it was over. Now I know Tom Watson had a run at it at the British, and that would have been the oldest. And Greg Norman even had a moment for a couple of days at the British. The British tends to do that.
Oh, I think Augusta and the Open are the two places that time can forget for a weekend.
Freddie Couples every year, right? By Saturday, you're like, could he win?
That's where O'Meara got his first,
right? So it does happen. And then he won the British.
Yeah.
So it does happen, but by and large, you don't see guys winning. They may win one at that age at 42, 43, 44, 46.
Well,
but winning 4 more, I mean, you got to get on it. You got to start winning again.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so Phil is on the first page, top 3 of the leaderboard on a Sunday at Augusta. Nobody's shocked. That's a course that fits his eye, fits his game, and he knows everything about that course. If he's top 3 on a Sunday at the U.S. Open, that would be totally shocking right now.
But not this year. It's his course. This is the one. This is it. It's also on his birthday that Sunday.
No, of course it is.
No, it's crazy.
So when Brooks beats him in a playoff on Monday, that poor guy.
It's crazy. It like his great uncle was a caddy at that course and all this. I mean, if he does it, wait till that story gets written. I mean, Jim Nantz can't wait. The opportunity to talk this through.
Well, he would talk it through during the PGA. Because, the PGA precedes it now, doesn't it? The PGA is earlier in the year now.
Is he not?
No, it's Fox.
Not
it's
doing
Fox.
It? It's Fox, that's right.
So it'd be Joe Buck gets to tell you about it. Maybe he'll bring in Troy Aikman to help.
Soccer guys are next. Good work. Way to play, Hurt. Good job, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great night. Remember, Soccer guys next. Stay tuned. Take care, everybody.